rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body.
So before we get really rolling on main topics and stuff like that, I kind of wanted to talk about PTSD a little bit. So start out with a nice heavy topic here. Because, for everybody who knows, Jessica was in a car accident 3 weeks ago. And while she's physically mostly better, like we're getting her ankle looked at to see exactly what's going on. Well, it's her ankle/foot. It's kind of hard to. It's the nice tender area below the ankle, above the bottom of the foot. So, and we're getting that looked at, but like she's definitely still jumpy, like very jumpy when driving or when as being a passenger. So, I talked last week. We did go get a new car. It's nice. I like it. I actually got to drive it a little bit this weekend because, how dare I drive a car?
You were allowed to drive.
I was allowed to drive the car I paid for. I paid for initially. She'll be making the payments. I'm being fair here. But in doing so, as her being a passenger, every little bit of movement, like from another car, when she wasn't staring at her phone, she jumped at or screamed at. There was a guy. We're right here by home. We were coming home yesterday after everything. We had a very busy day yesterday. So and there was this guy in a Charger who I saw coming in the mirrors. So we're on a 4-lane road, or I'm sorry, a 3-lane road, and then he comes up on our right side, and then jumps in front of us, and then cuts across and goes to make a left turn at the light, like a jackass. Because we're on the curb, so. All he would have had to do was just get behind us for approximately 3 seconds, and he would have gone to the left turn lane. Instead, he comes flying around on the right, and then cuts across in front. No turn signal, by the way. Lovely jackass. And she freaks out. Even though there was a big gap, and I saw him coming, she absolutely freaked out. And even to the point, and I sort of joked about it here. So her first day back to work, first day back in a car, after the accident, which, mind you, was only over the weekend. Like, it was just, so she only had the weekend to basically, recover. And I jokingly said, I was like, she actually had the balls to get up and drive to work. And she's like, no, it's like, she's basically literally kind of reliving it every day. She has to drive the same road that happened every single day, back and forth to work. No matter which office she works at, she has to drive past that point every single day. So I'm sure she's been reliving that. But I did want to talk about, and I'm not going to go into big detail, but one of my coworkers recently went through an attack of sorts that resulted in some physical harm. And when going back to work a few days later, had a freak out as well, when confronted in a similar manner, and now that person is out on basically light duty, whatever you want to call it, to go into therapy for the anxiety around the incident. So it's just the idea that sometimes what seems like just, even though I don't know all the details, but from reports, what the person went through was pretty egregious, but not life-threatening. And it happened at work. And since then, they didn't know how bad it was until they had the freak out. So,
is this a young person or
a similar age person to myself?
Okay.
So in their late 30s to 40s, give or take. And but it's the idea that just being, we downplay the stuff we go through every day a lot.
Oh yeah, for
and then
sure.
And sometimes you'll encounter a situation that is clearly going to be beyond your control. for whatever reason, be in a car accident, because you'll expect that you are in full control of your destiny when you're behind the wheel, but when there's 10,000 people you're driving past over the course of an hour, you have no idea if that's really going to be the truth or not, or whether or not
everything is so random. You don't know what's going to happen,
and everybody else has their own destiny, their own control over what they're doing or lack thereof. In the case of what happened with Jessica, where literally for whatever reason this guy did not have his faculties, and that's how the accident happened.
Yeah,
and we're going to be there will be litigation regarding this over hopefully not a super long time, but I know that depending on how these cases go, it can go for years on end before you see any relief. But it's like I think about these things to myself too, because as people know, on New Year's I fell down the stairs and fucked up my knees, right?
Yeah.
I now actively slow down as I get near the bottom of the stairs, and I pay attention to every step. So in the back of my own head, I think, okay, we're gonna make it this time. But then if my foot maybe just catches just a little, I'll come to a whole stop. Yeah, just to make sure that I'm steady. So
because the alarms are going off, and it's like, remember what happened last time?
Exactly. So it's just the idea that we'll go through the motions, but sometimes we're not as okay as we believe we are, especially when it comes to a stressful or traumatic incident. It can be as simple as I fell down, or some idiot lost control and caused a big car accident. Now, I want to say major because that would be over exaggerating, but it was a big car accident. Right. People were hurt.
I think more than likely, because as we get older, like when you're younger, you fall off your bike, say going down a hill or something like that, you scrape yourself up, you get up, it's like, okay, whatever, and you keep on going, right? Because when you're young, you feel like the world's your oyster and you're invulnerable, basically, right? Yeah. And then as you get older, when certain things happen, it sort of just dawns on you that I'm not as, quote unquote, invulnerable anymore. Invincible. Right? And that there's a very finite amount of time that I might have here on this earth. And sometimes, depending on the person, you tend to mull it through in your head. Yeah. And it's like, I got to be more cautious, or, as you're getting older, and you will find this because I'm already there, that, there are certain pains that do creep in. Well, I mean, you do, certain parts of your body.
I'm very much aware of these pains that creep in.
But for all of you out in the audience that haven't had it yet, you will. Trust me.
All six of you from listening.
Us two.
Yeah.
Exactly. There will be certain pains that'll creep in. It's like, oh, I've never had that before. What the hell? Mm-hmm. And you realize you're getting older, and you want to be more cautious about things that you're doing. Oh crap. And it sucks. And and depending on other things, I think that's probably the cause of some PTSD that's out there. And I hope we're recording at this point, because we should be.
We are.
This is okay, good.
Yeah. No, that's why I'm talking about this. That's because we're recording, Mike. I said
that's
we're
what
recording. Yes. But no, but I think because I've had traumatic things happen. I mean, basically everyone has had some type of trauma in their life. That's usually what forms our core memories, that kind of shit, or even memories we have no idea are in our core. We just think that happened, you move on. But no, it becomes a part of you. Like I'm still not sure that I have no negative consequences to the sexual assault I suffered as a child. I'm sure there's something in me that is probably wired wrong now due to that exposure to such a traumatic event as a 3-year-old. So, And
quite possibly.
I'm sure that has definitely had an effect on me. I just don't even think about, never even like went to therapy or anything about that. It's like, sure, good. Yeah, 3-year-old definitely doesn't need therapy for that. Or maybe they did, and part of the therapy was to wipe my memory, so therefore I don't remember the therapy.
That's it.
That good old trope, right? We're gonna wipe the memory of the event and the therapy so that they're okay. It's like, except for the fact I remember it. Thanks. But you never know.
Poor job.
Yeah, but you never know when you could be triggered. Like you can assume you're
true.
okay.
Yeah.
Like no matter what you've been through, you can assume you've been okay because you've been okay for 3 weeks since the thing. Like we'll say recent trauma. You think you're okay, and then a thing happens that you may not even be a part of, but you're witness to, and it completely re-triggers that event, and you just recapture all of that emotion, all of that because hearing part of what I've got minor PTSD, if you want to call it that. Like people think there are levels to these things. People think that because it was minor, it doesn't count. It's like, no, trauma's trauma. And as long as you have associated stress and anxiety due to that trauma, that is PTSD. That's literally the breakdown of it, post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah. So I have it in regards to Jessica due to traumatic events she's gone through since we are together. Because of how I react to her crying.
Right.
So, like, there are certain things that will trigger a response in me that take me back to those moments where she literally has lost all control over emotion, and it's just pure, raw crying and anger and sadness. And so I've got this list of these events that has happened, and like, okay, it's like, but it's all because of her reaction and what it does to me. Not that I was directly affected. It was
true. But I think it's probably then related to what happened to you when you were 3.
I doubt that. I doubt that has anything to do with that. That has more to do with probably more of my abandonment issues because my parents weren't there. It was a babysitter, so my parents not being around there and being there for me allowed for a terrible situation to happen. If I had some idea of that, but I think the reason it affects me so much is because I've had so little loss in my life that when someone that I deeply love suffers a loss that I never have, that triggers a loss response in myself. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does.
Like, because I lack that sense of loss, so I experience it through her loss and experience it as though it's my own. Call that secondary or whatever you want to call that, or codependency, something to that degree. I have no idea what you would call that, but at least that's what I could see that being within myself. But that idea that, like, sure, I've gotten hurt and I've done all these things, but like you mentioned, being a young dumb kid. When I had a failed bike jump and like really wiped out hard and really like tore up the side of my leg, I didn't consider that trauma at all. I just literally like cleaned myself up, got back on the bike as soon as I could,
Exactly.
But I fall down the stairs because I think the difference was it went wrong, but I was in control. When I fell down the stairs, it was a total loss of control. There was nothing I could have done to stop that because of how it happened. But for whatever reason,
the situation basically took power
away from me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and thereby, and especially for men, because like it or not, statistically speaking, that men essentially commit more suicide when situations are out of the control and whatnot. Especially, and not to make this a race thing, but especially white men.
Yeah.
It's
the patriarchy, Mike. It's the pressure. It's the pressure of the patriarchy pushes us to such degrees.
But especially for a man, where we inherently feel like we need to be in control of the situation.
Yeah.
In order for any particular situation to be under control, or for others to be safe, or
just ourselves
just ourselves, or for provision reasons or whatever. We like things in a nice, neat, organized package, basically.
And preferably a package we constructed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That way we know for sure everything is nice, safe, and secure, right?
Yeah.
And when something is basically, I don't know how else to put it, but either shoved into that package that doesn't fit, like a situation that is not in our control, then it's like it disrupts basically everything, right?
Yeah.
And especially our thinking, because we realize we're not in control.
Yeah.
And
when it's
that can be a bit of a head screw.
Yeah, and when it's also paired with physical pain, that's one thing, and that's at least same thing with her or Jessica, because a lot of pain involved in that accident, not just the fact it was a scary event, like literally, her neck hurts, her chest hurt, her foot obviously still hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And she's powered through it, but now it's gotten to a point where she's now she's at the point that she expects herself to be better, and she's not, and she's angry about it.
Right.
So it's moving on. It's a different stage of acceptance or depression, whatever you want to call it, because like now her foot, the bruising is gone, but the foot is swelling a bit. It's like she noticed her shoes was tighter even without having the brace on. I was like, well, put the brace on, it'll keep the swelling down. And so because we went out yesterday, and she was complaining that her shoes weren't fitting right, or shoe wasn't fitting right. And she was in pain. So like we eventually went home last night, because at that point she was just, her ibuprofen, everything else had worn off. And she's like, we need to go home. So, I mean, we were on our way home. We were having, the long goodbye conversations. When you're social setting, sometimes it takes a minute to get out of it,
That Minnesota goodbye where it takes about a half an hour.
Yeah. It's more like our Ukrainian goodbyes, where a second party has happened around our goodbyes. So it's like we had a party, now we're having our goodbye parties before actually leaving. It's like the main party's over. Now we've just moved to a different room or to outside amongst our cars, and we stand there and we talk for another 70 minutes. And then we're supposed to be leaving. That's the way it used to always go with the family. It's like, yep, this is what happens. Like, we're supposed to have left.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and then you realize your car door's been open the whole time and your battery is draining.
Yeah, it's like, these mosquitoes come from?
Oh God! Oh, speaking of mosquitoes,
here we go.
So speaking of mosquitoes, welcome back to the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, episode 73. And I will mention that we much like Mike has returned to this podcast, mosquitoes have returned to Texas, and it's fucking annoying. It's October. It's fucking October, and mosquitoes have come back.
Really? You think you got it bad? Okay, because now, and I don't know if you can really see this.
Yeah, it looks gray and gloomy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because now it started to snow up here in the Great White North of
Canada.
Look,
it's fine. You're supposed to have snow.
Texas, yeah, exactly.
You guys should have snow, but
but it's still October 23rd, man.
It'll come and go, and you fucking know it. It'll go away, and then you'll be like, "Thank God it's not snowing." And then,
because here's the thing: over the weekend we had like nice weather, 20 Celsius. It was nice and warm, right? It was kind of like like Indian summer, right?
Sure.
Still nice, still nice out. And then all of a sudden, boom! Pretty much overnight, it's like
just dropped enough to make snow.
Yeah, it's like
Arctic Blast.
God.
Arctic Blast Mountain Dew.
Exactly.
Coming from Canada.
Now I know what's coming. It's another 4 months of this shit.
Oh, no. So, but the irony being, because we had such a hot summer with such a ridiculous drought, we've had no mosquitoes. So now that we're getting,
that's not bad.
Now that we're getting regular rain and it's still kind of warm. I mean,
all over the place.
We're in the high in the 80s right now. We've got like a high of 85 or whatever. And then now the fucking mosquitoes are coming out. I was like, we had 2 outdoor meetings for the men's group that I've been going to, and got started getting chewed up last Wednesday. And then last night while we were at it's an associated group, but it's everybody. It's not just men. So we actually got to meet. I finally got to meet everybody's significant others. So I've known all the dudes in the group, but this is with all significant others and families and whatever. So, but we're sitting outside because there's not enough room inside to house us all. And we're getting chewed up. It's like, this is bullshit. It's like, it's October. We're not supposed to have mosquitoes in October.
No,
right? They should be dying off. No, we're like, we got all the dormant mosquitoes that have just been waiting for enough rain to come to life. This is horse shit.
It's like, oh shit, yeah, we got a job to do. Frig, we better hurry up.
Yeah.
Suck everybody's blood out now.
Exactly.
Here's the weird thing. For about the past 2-3 years up here in Alberta, because usually you got a lot of mosquitoes in the summertime, right? I swear to God, I kid you not, I've only seen like literally 2, maybe 3 mosquitoes the whole summer.
And it was the same 2. They just kept coming around. They're like, hey, you got some more blood?
Probably.
You got some of that
but it's really weird.
blood?
I don't get it. It's like where, and a lot of people have been saying this, like,
climate change. Climate change.
It's like, where'd all the mosquitoes go? Not that we're complaining, mind you. It's great, but this is odd.
It's Bill Gates.
That's it.
Bill Gates and his GMO mosquitoes. I mean, that was the point.
However, we have been seeing a slight increase in dragonflies, which ain't bad. So
you know what?
Now,
hold on. You know what? Same.
Nah.
Like, no joke. Same. Like, I have killed more enormous dragonflies with the windshield of my work vehicle than I have ever killed in all the years of doing my job. And I mean big dragonflies. So maybe it was the perfect weather for dragonflies to like really procreate and the perfect weather for mosquitoes to not. Well, obviously, they need water. They need standing water to procreate. So,
and that's the thing, we haven't had. I don't want to say we had a whole lot of rain because we really didn't.
That would be the point.
Without the still water, you get a bunch of mosquitoes. But
because on like really rainy summers, we just have endless mosquitoes. Usually August is horrendous. Like it's huge.
That's really weird.
Yeah,
you've had a lot more dragonflies too.
Yeah, and not just a lot more, big ones, like big motherfuckers. Like normally you'd see those. Maybe it's just that I've had a change of area. Maybe that's what it is. It's like it's just I went to a spot that had more dragonflies, but I don't know. Maybe there's something tied there with the moisture levels. I have no idea. Because we had a lot of dragonflies growing up around the pond. Like the small guys, sometimes a big one, and the fish would eat them, which was always cool to watch. When you think they're just chilling on the water or whatever, and a big old bass snaps them. And it scares the shit out of you because you couldn't see it coming either, and you're just sitting there fishing quietly. God, I've gone fishing in so long, but that is interesting. Okay, but back to the normal podcastery. I am, of course, Shoky. You can follow me at all the Shoky links down below, and of course, today we have our initial Canadian. We have Mike returning for like not just a quarter. Like this is his second time this quarter, I think. Technically speaking, weird. I think I could be wrong. I think you were here in September for one episode. We were supposed to have Rusty, but he apparently became the leaky mechanic and was having some sickness issues. So hope he gets better. That's
a good one.
It was supposed to be Shoky and the 2 Canadians today, and it didn't happen. So it is what it is. Because the way my schedule was supposed to work today was that I was supposed to go to work this morning, get off, go to my therapy session this afternoon, and then podcast with Dante. In theory, this is the schedule we basically had because we usually record in the evening time instead, and then miss the men's group tonight. But now I did not work. We're recording in the middle of the day. I still have my therapy when it needs to happen, and then I have no idea what will happen after that. Probably me attempting to rebuild the thing that I need to fix on my computer.
You're gonna chill, man.
I'm not gonna chill. I got work to fucking do, Mike. Dude, I have such a giant pile of action figures to fucking review, like, well, quote unquote, review my out the box reactions. Shout out to the patrons. You could see this on the uncut video version. They got a whole 20-minute discussion before the beginning. I think it might actually be more like 5 minutes, but it felt like 20. But either way, and they also get to see us here on video. So hi, everybody who gets to watch this. It's usually Laura and Mary are seeing the uncut podcast currently. We do have 3 freebie patrons checking things out right now. So hopefully they will sign up, because that would be awesome. Get a little bit more money per month and new people to come and hang out. So just promoting the Patreon a little bit. So for this channel, it's uncut video podcast. And then also for the main Shoky channel, it's out-of-the-box reaction/reviews for things, behind-the-scenes looks at things. Usually I'm using that as like a secondary social media, so like posting pictures and videos and stuff like that even normal people have no idea what's going on. Like, my patrons knew everything that was going on with me with my injury and everything, and no one on Facebook knew, because they just said, fuck it, I'm going to tell these people because they're here to actually talk to me more than my own family. So it is what it is. And then for the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense channel, we technically have 3 times a month Patreon calls where we sit on a video chat and bullshit about stuff or do reactions. Because last week, before the call, I got in 3 bonus reactions to different stuff before anybody showed up. So that's a new thing I'm starting to do. Plus, I'm also doing a commentary or comment section where I'll go through. If I have a whole bunch of stupid comments, I will read them and post it to the Patreon now. Speaking of which, if you want your questions and comments read here on the show, just leave them in the comment section of the video on YouTube, and if we have any, we will read them down below. Or you can write in to us at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com, and you can be like Jay, who used to write to us all the time before he got a full-time job and had to start paying for life. So he still comes into the live stream, so that's good. He's just unfortunately not around.
He's adulting.
Exactly. Sorry, I just heard back from my union guy.
Good. So while you're checking that, I'll plug me.
Yeah, you plug you, I suppose, because normally I would do that, but I just wanted to read that real quick. Go ahead.
There we go. So, hey, everybody on Patreon, Facebook. No, you don't exactly do this on Facebook.
I posted to Facebook, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then good nothing. And Facebook and YouTube and
Rumble. And we are on Rumble.
Rumble now.
We're on Rumble now.
Nice. Okay, then Rumble and wherever you hear podcasts. I am the Comic Relief Crusader. You can check out my channel on the YouTubes and Rumble. Just look up the Comic Relief Crusader.
Doing great, Mike.
And yeah, check out all my slew of videos there. And if you want to catch me on social media, you can go to X, formerly Twitter, at Michael_Lorber, Lorber. And check out some of the goofy posts that I got there. Yep. And
in theory, that will be in the description down below since Mike is here.
Yes.
The rule is you have to be here now to get your links in the description down below.
That's right.
The new rules.
That's why I'm whoring myself out now.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Whore. Whore. You whore. He's a whore. He's a whore.
So.
But yeah. So, what was I just thinking? I was thinking of something. This is funny, so I want to bring this up before going into weeks real quick. It's something I was unaware of, but one of my lovely patrons sent me this message on Instagram, which you can go follow me on Instagram if you'd like to. I'm having issues with Instagram currently. I'll talk about that in a minute. So sent me a thing. It's a TikTok. Sorry, I stopped for a second. I know. It's a TikTok about Super Mario.
Okay.
You may have run across this because it apparently happens every few years. So what in the Super Mario games, especially more modern ones, what is Mario's catchphrase? What's his main catchphrase? What's he absolutely known for saying?
It's me, Mario.
100%. And what have you always understood that to mean?
That he's Mario. He self-identifies as Mario, and he's saying, hey, it's me. My name is Mario.
But in a weird, funny Italian accent.
Exactly.
A stereotypical Italian accent. It's a me.
That's right.
So, it's what is currently making the rounds is that is actually quote unquote. He's not saying it's me. He's saying itsumi, which is a Japanese word that means super, superb, or excellent. Right. So people believe that he has actually all this time been saying Super Mario.
Super Mario. Right.
However, the creator has come out and said no. Hold on. Let me go one step further. So they're the guys who realized that they said, okay, technically yes, but that word does not. It's not a word. It's not a noun. It's a name. It's a surname. So Itsumi is actually a name, but that name happens to mean superb or whatever. But nobody would use it in that. But people were thinking, okay, so Mario's actually saying his name is Itsumi Mario. Because he's from Japan. So they're saying that, okay, this is Mario's name. But this has been debunked because the creator literally said, no, his name is Mario, much like, because otherwise it would mean that Luigi's name is
Luigi Mario?
No, his name is Luigi Mario. But under this idea, he would have to be Itsumi Luigi.
Right.
But that's not what he says. He says he's Luigi Mario.
Yeah.
But also, we don't even think about the fact that's wrong. If it was Itsumi Mario, Mario would be his first name. Itsumi would be his last name. So it'd be Mario Itsumi in Japanese, but we're seeing it in English. So, but the point is, the creator says no. It is. He is saying Itsumi with a dumb accent, and his name is Mario. But apparently, this viral trend comes around every few years when people find out about it again and then start talking about it. Because I've seen it go back as far as 2018 so far in my research that it is making the rounds. It made rounds in 2020. It's making the rounds again in 2023. But it's fucking false. It's a funny thing, and of course it makes all the podcast rounds like it currently is. But I'm not saying it as a definitive. I'm explaining actually the thing. I will share the link to the original video, and I'll share a link to the debunking article.
Oh man!
But it's just funny because I have a decent relationship with the patrons, and we talk all the time, and so she's been Laura specifically sent me this because she thought it was funny. And then I sent the thing back and said, nope, that's not how this goes. And she's like, and so she laughed, and it's funniest thing that you knew to debunk it. Of course I did. Well, it's like, well,
let it die.
But
just let it die, people.
Well, because here's the problem. The internet is there for everyone, but much like any and all information, if you don't bother to go look it up, you don't know it's there. So when it comes across your board, like you're like, oh, hey, it's a new viral TikTok thing, some dumb shit. So it's what it is. I mean, if I get one, I'm gonna quote it as a title somehow. I'm gonna put Itsumi Mike in the title. That'll be the title for this. I already made the decision beforehand, so I'm gonna I'm gonna capitalize on it as best I can as well. But it's just
me, Mike,
Michael. Actually, Mikhail, Mike. It'd be Mike.
Do that. Right, it's me. Miguel.
Oh, what? Everything about that was wrong.
Yeah, I
everything about that
because
was
Miguel's
so wrong.
Russian,
but you said it with an Austrian accent,
exactly,
referring to an Italian Japanese.
Because I know how to say Michael in German. That's the thing.
Yeah, Mikhail.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, other than that silliness that happened, so I have been watching TVs. I've been watching the good old television.
Have you?
Yes. So Loki season 2 continues on. I'm enjoying it a lot. From your tone, I'm assuming you're not.
It's kind of. I'm not gonna say it's boring. It's just kind of, kind of like that. Although I am enjoying Short Round in it.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Ouroboros as
Love
it goes.
Ouroboros. Yeah. Right.
And I think this last episode, I think with this one, because there's kind of a new mystery going on in a degree. Like we knew what was like last season was all about like action, action, action. Like we've actually had a fight almost every single episode this season so far. Good flashy fight, but it has gotten ever so slightly repetitive with Loki run into Sylvie, they fight or they get along one way or the other. But we also still don't understand exactly what's going on with Sylvie. But we know what we know what the TVA is doing. We know what Loki's doing. And now with this newest episode, we have the introduction of Victor Timely and whatever it is he's going to become, because he's not Kang, but he is Kang. It's a weird situation because...
Nice play on the last name, too. Timely.
Yeah, well, he's from the comics, and he was a variant. Like, in the comics, he is a variant of Kang, so...
But I'm referring to pre-Marvel being Timely.
Yeah, of course.
Comics.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that was all part of the reference. But like this is our first new shot of Jonathan Majors reprising the role, sort of, and I liked this version of him because it is a variant. He's in a branch timeline, but he existed in the 1800s, not in like the 51st century or wherever he said he's from. 31st century, whichever way. So that's already interesting. So it might be that we have a bootstrap paradox going on here, that he creates himself in a way. Yeah. So not in the literal sense, but he gives himself the knowledge to become he who remains, so that he gets there. So we see he's using 18th or 19th century technology to create stuff he's gotten out of the TVA handbook.
Yeah.
And like he's created the wand, where they usually erase people, but it's huge. He created some type of temporal loom, but he's using it as a power generator instead of whatever technically the TVA uses it for. But we also find out he's a charlatan.
Yeah.
So he knows. Yeah, he knows he can't make this shit work effectively, but he can make it look cool. And so, but in the case of the big ticket items, apparently they do work, but he keeps those to himself. So like the wand thingy or whatever they call it, I forgot exactly the name of it. The one he created, it actually ends up looking like a big ass like minigun, like that lights up. So when Renslayer grabs that and then uses it to blast a mannequin to wherever it goes at that point, because who knows if he actually... How do you figure out how to make that out of bullshit technology? That's the create. So he has to have some sort of genius to be able to create these things. But the teaser we get is his newest and best creation, which we get to see a small scale version of. But people have since... He said what he I couldn't understand what he said in this, because like he definitely seems to have either maybe some mild autism or some other thing going on, because he has speech impediments and clearly his thinking is staggered, like jumbled. Also, he reminds me of Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man 2. He reminds me of Electro's character before he gets the upgrade. Like genius level dude, but like very awkward and not necessarily Max. What's that character's name? But he creates basically his time ship, like, or a prototype of it.
Yeah,
the little thingy that he.
Yeah, which is rather weird because I mean, mid to late 18th century technology to be able to make the things that he wants to make.
Yeah,
shouldn't even exist.
No, but that's why that's a branch timeline. So he's had to. So
it's kind of weird.
Yeah. So over the 30 years or so that it was in the gaps, because 1861 to like 1893 was the time jump there. So he's got like 30 years of having the information of what the TVA can do and using that to invent shit, basically.
Exactly.
And the only other thing I'll say, at least about this episode, was Miss Minutes being thirsty as hell. Wow.
She's got a passion.
She literally comes on to him as though they haven't established. Like, Miss Minutes is so out of it that she knows he's a variant, but she's like, I need his body. Like, she's just after his shit.
This is the weird thing. It's like they're talking like they're already a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah.
And it's like, you should realize, because you guys are agents of time, basically.
Yeah.
That he has absolutely no idea what he's going to be doing in the future, and you're already talking to him like he's already done it. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
in her own
it's very weird.
broken programming, like, so she was an AI he created just to play chess and play games with him.
Yeah.
Basically, he's alone. He needed something. Creates her, but then he installs the ability to her to write her own code. So she evolves herself into what she becomes.
Yeah.
And then they stay companions for God knows how long, you know, but it's almost like she's got an extreme case of like Martha syndrome.
Yeah.
From the doctor.
Exactly.
Like, he just sees her as the companion to do stuff for me and not as a romantic partner, and she's 100% in love with him, to the point where she's like, but she's now resentful of He Who Remains for never allowing her to give herself a real body so that she can get with him. And it's like, that whole moment was, this is a psycho bitch. I was like, wow. And like her being jealous of Renslayer, like anytime they started getting closer, was crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, that's when I was,
yeah,
I was like,
because you're looking at her reaction
in the background. Yes.
It's like, yeah.
And so like,
it's like, ooh.
So that's why I think it might be a little unfair to call it boring. It's not. I think it's paced well for what's happening. You know, because they're if they only do 6 episodes like the first season, it's going to be weird because that means they only have 2 episodes left. It's like, what are they going to do in 2 episodes? You know, so
is it 2 now, or did 3 already come out? 3 is already out now.
that's what I'm saying. Okay, so there'll be 3 episodes left.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
I'm thinking it was 4. My bad. But
and on top of that, how's this all going to be like leading up to Deadpool 3?
If it does,
Miss Minutes. Oh no, it is, because it's already confirmed that Miss.
But
Minutes
I mean, literally leading
is
to.
and you know, some of the other casts are going to be showing up in Deadpool 3.
Speaking of Deadpool 3, I don't know if it's real or not because you can never believe anything anymore. I saw a thing with Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine, like, and they had him, and they, whether or not this is real or not, because we can do so much shit with AI now. I mean, because that was the rumor that he may take over as the MCU's Wolverine, because he's actually the roundabout the actual stature of Wolverine. Yeah, you're right. It's only 3 episodes. I thought it was 4. My bad. Well, well, it's because another show I was watching is Gen V is on episode 5. That's where my brain was. So I averaged it out. Loki's on 3, Gen V's on 5. So I just went for 4 down the middle. But
who's on first?
Yeah, who's on first?
Yep.
But I think that it'll be okay, like leading into it, because now we have branch timelines. You know, even though we've pruned a bunch, we've got branch timelines everywhere. We have no idea. So that means somewhere out there, obviously, the Deadpool universe exists, the Foxverse exists.
Yeah.
And in theory, we will probably see the TVA actively attempting to prune the Deadpool universe, and that's how he ends up what looks like the end of time, like we saw in Loki, where you've got like stuff's kind of smashed together and different variants of different characters in there, including we know we're getting like Kidpool and a few other Deadpool variants in the movie. So we know that, as like, of all things to have to capitalize on because of the situation, and then for it to follow up after this series, you know, I think it'll be a definite difference in the where they were playing with the multiverse before, which is, you know, the 3 multiverse movies we've gotten, technically speaking, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Ant-Man. So those are our only real multiverse situations currently, and now we've got Loki 2 coming back and playing with it, but not in the same way, because like I don't think this is meant to be like this giant epic story. I think this is meant to be this small chunk of the overall mess that's happening. Yeah. You know, because if we get Loki returning into the movies, if any of these multiversal movies, if we get Loki and the TVA popping up throughout them, even though the series itself has stopped at the time. Right. Puns. That would be cool. Like if we see at the end like someone is collecting like people from, that would be the way to set up Secret Wars.
It is.
That's
kind of the current rumor might be.
Yeah.
That all these other different multiverses are going to replace certain characters in the current MCU and from other, branch universes.
Basically eliminate.
Exactly. because there's been a hint that Tobey Maguire will be coming back as a mainstream Spider-Man.
That sounds so dumb. He's too old. No, if you brought back what's his face instead, because we keep getting these rumors of Amazing Spider-Man 3. I don't think it's been remotely confirmed, especially with everything going on now. But so I think like right now we've got a whole lot going on in the multiversal saga with the MCU. I say a lot, but technically it's a little. But like we still have the remnant that of course our next Marvel movie coming, which is the Marvels, which not going to have anything to do with it at all. And supposedly, once again, take everything you read on the internet with a grain of salt. What's her face has quit as Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Whether that's confirmed, I personally don't know, but there's a lot of talk of it. So,
because
but it could be.
Nobody likes her.
And we talked about that a couple weeks ago, me and Dante. And realistically, it was just, it's kind of what's going on with Disney in general, like with the whole Snow White thing. Last week, if you didn't listen, we also talked about the Daily Wire now throwing out their own live action Snow White in direct opposition to Disney. Because Rachel Ziegler's a moron and doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut and not say stupid shit in interviews.
Exactly.
And that's basically what happened with, why is her name escaping me? Help me out here.
Gal Gadot?
No.
As the Queen?
Miss Marvel. I'm sorry, not Miss Marvel.
Brie
Captain
Larson.
Marvel. Brie Larson.
Oh,
Brie Larson basically just said some feminist shit, not even in an interview, but in like a TED Talk situation. And then basically the world said, fuck you, we hate you, and then ruined her movie, and then that character was tainted from there on out. Like, she would not, it's like, whether or not she gets good movie around the character, it didn't matter. Her as the character was permanently tainted. Even if she did a good job, which I believe she actually did, that's just my personal opinion, I think she was fine. I think her own movie was weird by itself, but her interactions with the Avengers and thus has been better. But if you don't like her and she's tainted in the role, then you're never going to get that off the ground the way you want, especially when you're coming in with secondary characters that are coming from side TV shows to help fill out the ranks, which both nice established characters, but in this case, sad. It's and like also coming off the back of Secret Invasion, which was a flop.
Oh God!
And I agree that was a flop. It's like I got no arguments that one was fun. It's like I know Ricky hates She-Hulk. I know Ricky absolutely hates She-Hulk. Yeah. Secret Invasion was a much worse series than She-Hulk as a series goes, in my opinion.
I'll give it pretty much on par.
No, I will say She-Hulk as a series worked better. Like, your argument with the characterization, I don't care. The series worked better than Secret Invasion did because all of the rewrites and nonsense around Secret Invasion hurt it so bad that there's no good way to recover from it. Like, in the universe. Within the universe, how do you recover with the way you had to rewrite it to avoid a Russian invasion that was stopped by S.H.I.E.L.D.? It's so fucking dumb.
It is.
So this is
full of crap.
Honestly, this is why.
And then, of course, you make your Super Skull. Oh God, no.
Yeah. Don't see.
Whatever. Don't get me.
So once again, this is my argument that She-Hulk was technically a better show than Secret Invasion was, because Secret Invasion was failure after failure after failure. Like I had, except for like the first two episodes. Like I think the first two episodes were good, and then it derailed hard, and it just got worse and worse. The acting was crap. The CG was sketchy at best most days. Yeah. And you can say a lot of the same things about She-Hulk, but She-Hulk's story made more sense, even with the crazy fourth wall breaking, reset the universe nonsense.
Yeah.
Which is in her power set, at least. If she did that and it wasn't in her power set, I would say yes, 100% bullshit. Is like,
because I can see with She-Hulk they were going with a John Byron kind of break the fourth wall kind of thing. Yeah, right. Like, I can see that.
But
that Daredevil.
But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She-Hulk banging Daredevil and him walking away happy in a walk of shame situation the next morning is not as bad as Super Skrull versus Super Skrull, Drax arm on Amelia Clark fucking bullshit. I was like, sorry. I will never. It's like, say what you, and I know the whole what's going on with Daredevil right now. They just fired fucking everybody and wanted to start over because of all that shit.
Do I have inside information about that?
Okay, so we're here then. It was like we're in the Marvel discussion, so just go ahead then.
Okay. Well,
if you can divulge such information,
I can. Okay.
You're not under an NDA. So.
No, that's true. No, but Vince, the guy that plays basically Daredevil. Sorry, not Daredevil. Kingpin.
Yeah. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. Oh boy, with the whole plot that was supposed to be for the whole 9 episodes of Daredevil. Because we were supposed to get 9 episodes.
Which is nice.
Which was nice. It was supposed to bring in Latveria, right? Doctor Doom's country.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Right, about the country Latveria. And there was supposed to be kind of a weird kind of I don't know how else to explain it, kind of like a ongoing joke within the show that they kept on pronouncing Latveria as Latvia, which is 2 different countries. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And yeah. So that's one thing. And apparently there was a scene where these I think representatives or ambassadors from Latveria, and he keeps on pronouncing it Latvia for some odd reason, was bringing what was it, like a silver platter with a bread, like a loaf of bread and some wine. And I'm trying to recall the whole conversation, how it went, to kind of present it as a like a mutual
it's a
partnership between
breaking bread together.
Things. Yeah.
In the literal sense.
And apparently the prop that they used for the bread looked literally like a big giant brown piece of crap, right?
Okay.
And he's looking at it and because on set he doesn't understand exactly what's supposed to be going on. So, and I don't know if you'll ever be able to see that scene because now everything is trashed.
They're probably going to trash most of it, yeah.
Oh yeah, because they fired all the directors, writers,
they fired everybody involved. Well, and look,
and Disney was supposed to keep the original Netflix guys, but there was scam them essentially out of it.
Well, the scam there was that because, and it wasn't that they're firing them, it's that they could pay them less because they're renamed the series, so therefore it's a new production, a new whole thing. So therefore
therefore you can get rid of everybody.
You can either get rid of them or you just pay them nothing. Is really what it came down to. But of course, we're already on a strike about this. It's like, why play this game when you're already on strike about it? It's so goddamn dumb. Now, mind you, they already started production, obviously.
So with Vince, apparently, the script was so bad, and they absolutely did not really give him any direction about any of the situations that he's supposed to be in, and everything was apparently very vague on script.
Sure.
That he would get very upset, go to his dressing room, be there for maybe a couple of hours to cool down, and then come back on and try to perform as normal.
And any actor who's dealt with either terrible writers or terrible directing, it's 100% expectable that would be the way. And, D'Onofrio's been in the business for fucking ever, and he's played really good, and he's a great actor. I mean, mind you, Jurassic World was, I wouldn't call that phoned in, but that was a dumb character just to begin with, but he did a good job at it as it was. But, I kind of respect him for basically holding his own and not just wanting to vent that publicly like so many other dipshits would have done by now.
Yeah, I'll give him mad respect for that.
And honestly, but if this means that it was so bad that people took a stand and made sure it didn't happen as it was happening, I'm happy. People want to say it's it's in trouble. It's well, yeah, but if you look at the context of why it was in trouble, this is the best possible explanation and outcome. I mean, okay, if it gets...
Because from what my guy said is apparently nothing about the story made sense, and they were all going to correct it in post-op.
No.
And do reshoots and stuff like that.
Shoot a fucking show that makes sense. Jesus Christ.
Well, exactly. But that's what got him also really, really upset.
Yeah.
And it's that's enough of this shit. I'm done.
I'm so, and I don't care which studio it is. I know people want to hate on Marvel / Disney, which deserved, but holy shit! Don't
82
make the show.
$82 a stock now.
You don't make the show in the edit. You make the show when you're fucking shooting it, and you make it
exactly
better in the edit. Or
Yep.
you trim out the crap in the edit. You don't shoot a shit show and try to recover it because we can see it. We're not fucking blind.
That was the other thing, that apparently Daredevil wouldn't show up in costume until at least episode 4.
I mean, to be fair,
Like, Foggy was...
Well, at the end of the other one, they all split up. Yeah, so at the end of it's a continuation of the Netflix series.
It's supposed to be, but
so
no.
their whole situation is over, which is one reason why Matt could come to fucking California to represent somebody.
But the other thing was, what's her face, the blonde woman there?
Yes, Karen.
Karen.
Yeah.
Also race swapped.
Which makes how would you race swap a character that's already been on screen? It's fucking retarded.
Because this is not going to be a continuation, apparently.
Then don't say it's going to be a continuation if it's not going to be.
Okay, at first it was supposed to be a continuation, and they were like putting it out as a continuation, but no.
Yeah.
Disney yet again flips.
Yeah. And and also,
and the other thing was apparently the other thing that got Vince upset with the script is apparently they were going to kill off Matt and introduce a female Daredevil,
which makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And that's why
is there even
off with this whole
is there even precedent for that at all?
No, because that was kept very hush hush.
No, but I mean, is there precedent for it, like in the comics?
Apparently not. No, there isn't.
So
there isn't. Daredevil is Daredevil. You know, I'm sure is Daredevil.
I'm sure somewhere in the multiverse there's probably a female.
Of course, because you got this whole multiverse crap of madness.
So
right?
If we were to have if they went through all that and then said that was technically a branch timeline and then we see it pruned at the end, like that's the only way you fix this bad show is you add the TVA fucking time bombing it at the end and literally pruning the branch. And here's the thing. They can still do that at any point and say, hey, by the way, the show sucked. And then that's their literal retcon bomb, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like they could do this.
That's just poor writing.
But like if you're going to write a shit show and make a shit show and then try to salvage a shit show by making it better in the edit or with reshoots, just shoot it good to begin with. You know, you'd think we've completely forgotten this, I think, as a species.
Yeah.
Like how to make things that work.
So the word is that Feige has seen it and
the actor,
it's just like, no.
Yeah.
This is not going out whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's going to be dumped and basically start all over again.
I mean, good. I mean, I don't care if it costs them $200 million if they did it the right way. $200 million on a piece of shit like fucking Secret Invasion. You know, when they made that series twice and they didn't do it good. It's like was literally that whole show was redone, at least in story and in the edit. They had as many reshoots as they had initial shoots, which means they did shoot that show twice and still put out a piece of shit. So here's the thing, like, and this is something discussed as far back as Age of Ultron, because they couldn't do like obviously Latveria is used as like the victim country and like so much of Marvel, and that's why Doom kind of takes over and makes it a prosperous country and stuff like that. Originally, I think the idea, because they're planning to somehow get to Doom one day, you know, after they got the Fantastic Four, was that they were going to use Sokovia as the stand-in for Latveria because of everything they've gone through. But also now we have a buttload of vibranium there, which Doom could easily, you know, make use of, assuming the Wakandans haven't gone and claimed everything. But like, there's kind of two places you would introduce Latveria. The obvious is in a Fantastic Four movie or within a story of theirs. Two, an Iron Man story. In fact, maybe, I don't know, an Armor Wars show, maybe a place to do such a thing. Or in anything having to do with Wakanda and Black Panther, because they're also kind of a rival nation in a way. I mean, we're a little bit more focused on quote unquote Atlantis, but you know, for another superpower / just normal everyday country to rise up in the power vacuum. And actually, if they wrote it in that Latveria didn't exist before the snap and it's existed now because of the snap, and then that's how Doom came about to help people recover in that country, they already have the setup for the story. So why are you doing this in a Daredevil movie of all or show of all places? Makes no sense. They just wanted to force Doom. And like, there's tons of time. We still got what, 3 years or so to we ever get to Fantastic Four? Like, probably. I mean, if you want to start,
but no lead man wants to work on the film,
which is stupid because we have a good one for that.
No, I know, but the thing is, they want to make it very Sue centric.
I know, and it's stupid. Stop screwing with what's good, guys. We already have it good.
Exactly.
It's like,
and the whole point is, look, there's no one leader of the Fantastic Four, not really, because it's more about family, right?
Okay, let's be honest here. It's Sue and Reed are the leaders of the fucking family.
We know he does take the
Ben is
leadership role because
Ben is not leading this in any way. He's the muscle.
No.
It's like, and Johnny is the one who burns things to the ground. I mean, he's smart in his own right, but he's the no pun intended, hot-headed young one. You know, I mean, we actually, it's like, whether you really like the movie or not, the first Fantastic Four, not first, because the first one was terrible way back when, or if it ever actually got made, but the
George Corman one,
way back, but the one from the 2000s, I mean, the Rise of the Silver Surfer was not good, but we did get a pretty decent on-screen Doom for what it was. We did. And the characters were played to character. Now, whether or not you like the acting itself, there's no mistaking he was Reed Richards. There's no mistaking she's Sue Storm. There's no mistaking he's Johnny Storm. Clearly, we're not going to fuck up the Thing because, I mean, look at him. He only looks like Michael Chiklis for about 3 minutes, or I think technically like 7 minutes between both movies.
True.
So, I mean, like, as goofy as it was, we had a decent representation. Whether or not the movie sucked, but we had a good representation of the Fantastic Four. Stop fucking with the formula that works.
Lawrence Fishburne as the voice of Silver Surfer, Norrin Radd. That was pretty good.
Yeah, no, Silver Surfer was great in that movie. The movie around Silver Surfer.
Cloud Galactus was a piece of utter dog shit.
We don't talk about that.
Nobody talks about that.
And
then, of course, we got the 2015 Fantastic Four.
I wasn't talking about Fan Four Stick.
I know.
I've never seen that movie, and I never wanted to see that movie.
Yeah, no, you don't want to.
No, I know I don't. I'm not going to. Don't worry about it. It's much like The Flash. I pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'd have no need to see it. I don't want to watch it. The reviews I've seen of it that show me more than 15 minutes of footage have already destroyed my brain, and I would like to have one of those Canadian suicide booths to help me forget The Flash exists at all.
I'll send you one.
I don't know if that'll come. Well, I don't know. We let everything across the border now. So,
true.
So, and we have a new inside joke in the NYMIA chat, by the way, guys. I'm not going to go into it, but
no.
I milked it today as well.
I saw.
I know. I was like, I got to go find this. I was like, that's my new solution to everything. New solution to everything in Canada. Some would say a final solution to never mind. Never fucking mind. Thanks, Trudeau. So either way, with all the Marvel stuff kind of out of the way at the moment, Gen V. I don't know if you're watching or not. The boys.
No, how is that?
It's good? Fucking awesome, dude. It's like it's okay. So you watched Wednesday, right? We talked about that last year, right? The Addams Family show.
Yeah.
Okay, so that show was good in its own universe, right?
Right.
So take that show, but put it in the universe of the boys.
Oh.
So it is. So I consider it to be an R-rated, like severely R-rated Wednesday. And like, because there's there's like the secret stuff going on behind the scenes at a school. You got a quote unquote secret bad guy. You have your core characters of kids who are all like, there's like the popular kids, and then there's the girl who's the outsider. So like it is Wednesday, And it is based on a run of the boys comics with the G-Men, which was their version of the X-Men, and it was the same similar situation. It was a school trying to raise up younger people into being a superhero team, blah blah blah. But it was executed differently than this is, so it's roughly based on that. But dude, it's a great fucking show. Like, and the CG is on point with the boys. We're getting hints because it's taking place after season 3, so this is a direct continuation. So we have references to the end of season 3 of the boys already. And I talked about it last week. Minor spoilers for everybody, even though it's in the trailer. We actually got, in a way, we got Soldier Boy, Jensen Ackles' character, in this past week's episode, and it was great for what it was. Because he spilled the beans online, so like he said, because he said, "Hey, I donned the green and the shield again. Come back, Soldier Boy will be appearing in Gen V," and like the where they're going with it right now. I don't want to go into all the plot details of it, but where they're going with it will make season 4 of the boys very interesting, depending on how this show wraps up.
Interesting.
So,
when is Invincible? That's
Invincible season 2 is coming soon. They just dropped a full trailer for it like 2 weeks ago. I think it's advertising all over the place now on YouTube.
I just remembered that now.
And I thought, and I was scared because their initial teaser, which was Invincible and Alan sitting in a diner talking, was like really bad, like a cell shaded CG. And like if you watch the trailer for it, it actually looks like regular animation. So it looks cleaner than season 1 did, but it looks to be on par with that. And then I actually enjoyed the Adam Eve special, like her whole history. I actually found that.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, it's good.
Good?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And that was animated just like the normal show was. So like my fears of it being like cell shaded, like, painted over CG animation was alleviated at that point. So I'm looking forward to Invincible season 2 as well. I assume it'll probably start up right after Gen V, if I had to guess. But I have no idea how long this season's going to go. So we're on episode 5. If I forget if The Boys does full seasons or not, like 13 episodes. I don't know. We'll see. I don't care. I don't keep up with that shit anymore. I just like episode. Do I have a new episode this week? Yes. Good.
Hooray.
And so I catch up on that stuff on Friday usually, because I think they both come out on. So Loki, I thought was coming out on Fridays. It looks like Loki's coming out on Thursdays, or at least it did.
Yeah.
So I'm confused because I thought it was coming out on Fridays. Now it looks like it definitely came out Thursday, because I woke up Friday morning to all the videos about Loki and Gen V. I was like, oh, what fucking day is it? I was like, I'm confused. I was like, did they drop it early for some reason? I have no idea. If they did, yay, I don't care. I catch it on Friday afternoon, regardless, or Friday morning when I get up.
There we go.
So since you're the first person to come back since it has finished, did you finish Ahsoka or no? Or did you watch?
I did.
Okay, what did you think of Ahsoka? We didn't really get a chance to talk about it.
No, we really didn't, did we?
No.
Okay. I can see why, from a lot of people out there, why there's a lot of hate for Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I got to be honest. I didn't mind it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like Rebel season 5, 6, whatever.
Yeah,
how
it's
seasons
5.
Of Rebels were there? There were 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so
because
this
you
like
and
6,
you
right?
and I both did Rebels around about the same time. Like, because you did a rewatch of Rebels or an actual watch of Rebels, and so did I, right before Ahsoka started. So yeah.
Yeah. So no, I really don't mind it whatsoever, because I can see probably a lot of people just bitching and complaining about Ahsoka. It's like, well, have you really watched Rebels?
Yeah.
And on top of that, have you watched the final season of Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Right? Then you kind of get it.
Yeah.
So there were also a lot of Easter eggs, I think, in Ahsoka.
So many endless Easter eggs.
That a lot of people don't understand. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, because there was supposed to be, getting out of the Star Wars galaxy itself is a major challenge. Because it seems like, along the whole entire rim of the galaxy, there's like a type of barrier that's impenetrable.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that there is a map leading its way out, right?
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I thought getting to the next galaxy, because generally when it comes to galaxies, you got, hundreds of millions of light years across.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before you could reach another
The
galaxy.
space between galaxies is generally bigger than an actual galaxy, because you can.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at least
Right?
in our understanding of it, technically, like, because
Yeah.
we can see galaxies on like our big ass telescopes, and we can see the distance. From our perspective, how far apart they are. Stargate
And these-
universe covered the distance between galaxies, no pun intended.
That's right.
And well, I guess so did Atlantis, and so did actually SG-1 did. So I'm just saying, Stargate did it, and they said that at one point, because when they lost the ZPMs, if you remember, they had the Midway Station, which was literally two floating Stargates, in the middle of the gap between galaxies, and there was literally like nothingness, like you know. So far apart,
So-
you either couldn't see the other galaxy, or they were far enough apart you saw the outside of the galaxies.
So for these, I'm going to call them space whales, because that's essentially
the
what they
Purgle.
are. These hyperspace whales, the Purgle.
Yeah.
To make it all the way to another galaxy, which technically should take an extremely humongously long period of time.
Yeah.
Just make it there, no problem.
Well, here's the other problem: is we had no sense of time for that. That should have been like if we pretend there was a season break.
Yeah,
and it was the travel. That would be it.
Exactly
for the travel. So because you're right. I mean, the impossibly long distance, but also like we know that hyperspace takes a while, even in that universe. But if you're doing like a shorter run, like
because even going across the galaxy, if you were
can
to make
take
it,
hours
say,
or days.
It can take pretty much a week.
Yeah.
Right, to cross the entire galaxy.
But that's also not in a straight line
as well.
But that's also not in a straight line. That's because you do have hyperspace lanes, because there's places that are clear to travel. So this one thing about this map is it showed the pathways to get out of our galaxy, like you mentioned. And then, of course, the only reason we know that is because of the ancient history with following the Purgle here. Like, so
there's that.
So within the canon of the universe, life in this galaxy didn't necessarily start here, and the originators of Force users did not start here. They came from the other galaxy, and it was their partnership with the Purgle that led to this. So like we talk about it in reference to this galaxy, that they used the Purgle to get around. They either rode with them, the Force users who originally either followed them or rode with them the same way we saw Ahsoka do, literally riding, in the mouth of the whale, which honestly, sure. I mean, like the idea that we know they did this and now we're actively seeing how is like, oh, totally fucking makes sense. It's like, where else would you go? It's not they can drag you along for the ride like they did to Thrawn in his Star Destroyer, which is interesting. But I like the idea that we built a super hyperspace ring that can cross between galaxies. So we did it with technology, and then we did it with nature. But so I like that deepened the mythology instead of just playing off of it. They're like, so we've only ever heard about it in legends with them. But
the other thing I did like at the end of the series is that you have the father, the son, however, the daughter,
or
the sister, is kind of wiped out,
broken
in a way.
and destroyed.
It's not there.
But also,
so that's very interesting.
We got the Mortis gods in another galaxy. Which means that not only do they did do time travel, they exist in our the Star Wars galaxy, the main galaxy we know of, and we physically have met them during Clone Wars. Met all three of them, those gods. Not only that, they affected on the people they had. We now know they aren't originating from there. They've either that or it was a back and forth at some point.
Exactly.
So there may have been a point in time where ancient peoples were going back and forth, not just from planet to planet, but galaxy to galaxy.
But here's the other thing too.
The gods of the Force.
Well, Abeloth.
Yeah, in theory, somewhere out there.
possibly later on be introducing Abeloth.
That's what I thought this was going.
Because she only comes after there's like great strife in the galaxy and stuff like that.
So right? In theory,
interesting.
So many theories left over at the end of the show. What was Thrawn's actual game? What was the Night Sisters' actual game, other than like so for whatever reason these three are in the original galaxy. We know that they've essentially been wiped out in the main galaxy. So they brought what appears to be an army of the dead, or at least a fuckload of coffins from their own crypts to the new galaxy. And so either that's going to be dead what are they called? I'm saying Night Sisters, but there's a name for what they are. Dathomir. Witches. So they could be dead other sisters of Dathomir. Like, we've only ever seen them basically in threes, but then we saw the ghosts of them being used multiple times throughout Clone Wars, and then again in Rebels, and then again now, and then we actually got dead troopers being brought back to life with their spirits. Which was only ever talked about in some of the Thrawn novels and some of the other stuff. And then people are bitching about them doing things from the novels they loved. It's just like...
Exactly.
And then they're mad.
It's like, well, then you really haven't read it then, have
It's
you?
like, what are you mad about? That they actually gave you what you wanted, and you're just mad they didn't do it before? Exactly. It's like, what are you pissed off at? It's like...
Now, I don't know if I missed this, but...
Sure.
Is this possibly the galaxy that they go to? Is it possible that this could be the galaxy where the and I hope I don't mispronounce it, but the Yuzak Vong,
I don't know what that is.
The ones that aren't affected by the Force.
Oh, I have no idea.
That come in, that come in the galaxy, later on in the old canon, that aren't affected by the Force.
Oh, and could be. I mean, we have no idea.
And stuff like that.
We have no idea.
So that's interesting. The only gripe
that sounds like
kind of have.
I was going to say, that sounds like Babylon 5 situation right there. The shadows.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. it's kind of like the shadows in a way, the only
it's all Dune. It's all Dune. We're all just steal everything from fucking Dune is really what it turns into.
The only gripe I got is that some of the action, lightsaber sequences and whatnot, look very tired, very slow.
I mean, to be fair, most of these people are pretty old and tired.
No, that's true. Yeah,
they're old, tired, out of practice, or low skill to begin with.
Well, what's her face? The
Sabine.
No, not Sabine.
Oh,
the one that played the Night Sister.
Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan.
Yeah. Now she was a badass. Like
yes, but only because I found out she's either
she's the goddaughter of Bruce Lee. Yes,
Bruce Lee, right? So she's got some training, and she's older than
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson, yeah.
Not by much, but correct. She is a little older.
Yeah.
But also Rosario is not used to doing this kind of stuff. Ricky and I talked about that the last time he was on.
But this is what training's for.
And he was complaining that Ahsoka was doing a lot of one-handed lightsaber duels. And but what did we see as the time went on? She got more and more back into doing the dual wielding. Her good old days. It's like Ahsoka hasn't faced a threat where she needed to use two lightsabers for a while.
Exactly.
And technically the Jedi are not supposed to use excessive force, but who the hell knows anymore? Yeah. She's not a Jedi. But they call her a Jedi. Exactly. I see everybody's complaints about this, and it's just like, what do you want to be happy with? And this is my big thing. I was like, and it's not that I will blanketly accept anything that's thrown at me with a smile. I look at everything objectively without having to think. But having just watched all of Rebels leading up to I think the week before Ahsoka started, basically, and then rewatching a couple key episodes right before it went, it's like I just wanted more of those characters. Now the only main complaint I would probably have is that Sabine's PTSD that we technically never got to see. We just got to hear about.
Yeah.
And and I knew that they were eventually going to unravel what technically happened with Ahsoka and Sabine, and they did. But unfortunately, we didn't get to necessarily see it on screen. I got to hear it explained to us, unfortunately. So that's one of the few things I would prefer show don't tell. Most times, but like they could have. We already did some minor flashbacks. If Sabine had a forced flashback to what happened during the Night of 1,000 Tears. So we now know her family was killed when Mandalore was glassed.
Yeah.
So we now know that because of her and what, the way she left things and then ran off to go train with Ahsoka, she wasn't there and then blames herself for not being able to help save her own family and her people. So now we know that, but it had to be told to us instead of shown to us. And I always say is like, maybe there should have been a tiny prequel to this, but then again, you have to unfold a story how you unfold it, right? So minor gripes on how the story unfolded, but we got the answers we wanted. Now, the main thing was more about, like, people are pissed off when Sabine finally starts showing Force abilities. And they're like, she shouldn't be a Jedi. It's fucking stupid for her to be a Jedi. And, like, you remember when Kanan was saying that she clearly has the potential, but she's blocked?
Yes.
It's like, and she was clearly, in that episode alone, it unveiled why she was blocked. By guilt of creating the weapon that was used against.
And
and
all that.
She designed a weapon and the Empire stole it that would specifically kill Mandalorians.
Exactly.
So she had that guilt in her mind, and now she's literally been given the thing that should make her the leader of Mandalore, and then to be like pressured with that weight and then having the guilt of it. Of course she's not going to be able to use things right. And when it's finally when she started to face her own guilt, that she finally got better with using the darksaber.
Yeah.
And then eventually using a regular lightsaber much later after directly training with a Jedi for some amount of time. But also a person who doesn't subscribe 100% to the Jedi way of things, but can teach you how to do all the things you want to do. It's like she may not have the morality of a Jedi, but once again, Kanan previously discussed, it's like she knows how to fight. We can just may as well teach her how to use the shit we do, whether she trains as a Jedi. It's like just because you have a lightsaber and know how to use it and you can push shit with your brain doesn't make you a Jedi. So I could argue, I see the argument like she's not really a Jedi, she's just a Force user. At best. And it's like, or she's at best a gray Jedi. It's like just having that so fair argument, them just calling her a blanket Jedi, but also that was coming from the bad guys who basically have your side, my side. There's no in between.
Yeah.
Even Thrawn, he's just like, okay, yeah. I was like, but I'll be honest, like Thrawn's reaction when he found out who Ahsoka's master was, I thought was really well done. Because he just went, oh, we're changing what we're doing now.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Anakin Skywalker. Fuck
now, the other thing is now that Rey has passed away, for somebody to come along to fill his shoes now.
Rey?
Now that season 1 is done, isn't that his name? The guy.
Oh yeah, Stevenson. Got you. Sorry,
yeah,
you said Rey. We're talking Star Wars and Rey. My brain went elsewhere. I'm like, what?
Yeah, sorry, no.
Like,
no.
Yeah,
Ray Stevenson.
So they'll have to have somebody fill in for
somebody
Balin.
to fill his shoes. Yeah, those are big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. But have you seen the meme where they CG'd or AI'd what's his face? Leaf. I forgot his last name. He played. He was the original Sabretooth from X-Men. But like they put the hair and beard on him, and he looks almost identical. Like, and he's the same height.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if I find the meme, I'll show you. I forgot this guy. He's been in a lot of things. He plays a lot of cop dramas and stuff like that. But all he'd have to do is fake the British accent. Honestly.
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the other thing I didn't like is the other thing I didn't get, I should say, with a lot of people, they were like, how long can Ahsoka hold her breath under the water? Like, it's been like, what, 30 minutes now?
Yeah.
Like, okay, first of all, when you're in a dream sequence, first of all, you don't know how long you're dreaming for because it can feel like hours, it can feel like days, it can feel like, whatever, when you're dreaming, right? Because you don't really have a conscious amount, you're not conscious of how much time is passing, right? when you're literally dreaming.
Liev Schreiber,
So,
that's his name. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you this picture. Hold on.
So, if you're knocked unconscious and you're basically having a vision, it
Yeah.
could probably, like, literally, it could be a minute or two that's passed, and it could feel like hours. Like, we've
Agreed.
all done this
Yeah,
when
time
we've
compression.
dreamed. So, however, doing
Right.
this whole Ahsoka the Grey kind of Lord of the Rings ripoff, I kind of thought, that's a bit cheesy.
It was, but at least they're doing
Yeah.
it because they're fans, not because they're hoping we don't notice.
Yeah.
All right, I sent you the picture. It seems kind of.
Why, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so they AI'd Liev Schreiber.
Oh, and Facebook. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah. Because I didn't want it to pop up on the screen here.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
see
like,
that.
do you see it? Like, it.
Yeah.
They just
Dang, yeah.
like, and they're the same height. So
They can totally do that.
and he's a good enough actor. Like I said, he just have to learn to fight with the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but that was just cool. That's like one of the fan things that has been out there in the world.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Okay, so back to what you were saying.
Yeah, doing the whole, Ahsoka the Grey kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, you didn't really have to go that
But we
far,
know
but,
that she
but
did.
people-
We know that
Yeah.
she did actually do that. And so, and I think Filoni basically said is like he kind of retconned the end of Rebels a little bit, like just that last little scene where Ahsoka and what's her face take off Sabine.
Yeah.
And so realistically, I think what he was kind of going for with his retcon is that scene was the same scene we saw in Ahsoka, but Ahsoka hadn't become the white version of herself yet.
Right.
Because this would mean that she was that way and then came back and then did it again. But now it's like, and then some people are like, with the other complaints that I saw was like, well, what was the point of this? Now they're over there and he's over here. It's like, because we needed Ezra back. That was the whole fucking point.
Yeah.
It's like their journey was to get Ezra back, and they did. Now it sucks that the people who were definitely close friends and basically family are now still split up, but now he's back in the main universe, where he can still be useful through the Thrawn story. Because frankly, he's still got plenty of beef with Thrawn, and now he's stronger with the Force than we probably have ever seen him.
So, all in all, I didn't think it was a bad series.
Yeah.
It was all right. Was it the greatest ever?
No.
No, and it doesn't need to be.
No.
It's a TV story, basically. It's not a movie.
But it did look fantastic.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is that with Filoni, okay, here's the thing also that I got to add. Because he's primarily done animation.
Yes.
Okay. And now he's doing this in a live setting.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a learning curve that he also has to go through because now you're dealing with real space, real people.
Yeah.
It isn't basically a setup on a computer.
Yeah.
Plus on top of that. Yeah. So there was a little bit of a problem with pacing here and there, I would say, but only because, you got to give him a little bit of credit here because this is his first time basically, as far as I know.
Well, he was involved in
Mando.
He was involved in Mando.
Yeah. But I mean, essentially as his own series, really.
And a live action version of his own series. Like, because
exactly
Rebels Clone Wars is his baby. So, tiny grace period.
Exactly. You got to give him a little bit of that.
For,
right? Because
for his first main effort, I'm giving him an A. Like, I'm just like, oh no, he changed mediums and put out a show that was nearly as good as the shows he did before that were animated.
Exactly.
Directing real people, but also having to adapt the characters to a world that actually has physics instead of some of the bullshit the cartoons do. Like, people are complaining about like, people are like, Ahsoka's so slow. I was like, so you're mad that she's not a teenager anymore and she was not in animation. And you can't move the camera the same way. She can't possibly move the way she did in Clone Wars. Not to mention, in universe, she's like 51 or something like that. She's old. Not older. We don't know how old her species can get, but like she's old. Like the fact that she's moving the way she is, not to mention being out of practice, is like she hasn't had to fight Force users in a while.
Yeah.
Like she's just been doing whatever the hell she's doing in the background, having a pretty light duty exercise.
So you gotta figure,
and all the self doubt too.
I don't want to say she's rusty, but maybe just dulled a little.
I'll say she's rusty. Like she literally, like
Well, yeah,
because it's not like Sabine was giving her a run for her money.
Well, no, that's true too. So
also,
either or.
Also, I did like the mirroring of when Hu Yang gave Ezra the other hilt that matched Kanan's. And he got that whole story, like that little backstory. And people are like, "Well, where did he get the kyber crystal?" I was like, "Well, you've got two options. It's a
drawer.
Yeah, there's a drawer of kyber crystals because we have lightsaber parts. Clearly, the shit came from somewhere." And Hu Yang,
it's a Jedi starship,
and Hu Yang did what now?
Built
lightsabers, but also it could be that that's just this crystal from his previous lightsaber that was destroyed. Yeah, and he held on to it.
So
because they're like, you have to bond with your kyber crystal. It's like, yeah, but you remember when they would just throw them spare lightsabers in the middle of a battle? Because that happened quite a lot, and they used it perfectly fine. It's like it's not optimum, but it sure as fuck works.
Mm-hmm. I love David Tennant.
I love David Tennant as Hu Yang.
Yeah.
And like live action Hu Yang, I think was 100% snarky enough, and like him just constantly talking shit. Like it was great. It was like, and I'm excited. And I was actually, even though we got in like a little bit at the beginning, I wasn't sure how much he'd take place. To get a great live action version of the largest war criminal in Star Wars history, fucking Chopper. People are like, Thrawn? No. Chopper is a war criminal. It's like, holy shit, he's a horrible. It's like as it goes, Chopper is a terrible human being.
Exactly.
It was not a human being.
But you definitely want to spend time with him in a bar.
Chopper is still somehow like the best family pet ever, and now to a new generation of the Syndulas, as it were. And also seeing the Ghost in action was great.
Love seeing him. It's like, oh god, this is good. This is good. I like this. Yeah. So,
but yeah, either way, I the fact that I finally got to talk with somebody. I mean, like I talked with him about Dante, but he never finished it. So,
finish it, Dante.
He will eventually. He's been busy. His October's incredibly busy. Other than that, I've been podcasting with Dante. We did an episode. I mentioned it last week. We did an episode of So You Like Horror on the new Exorcist movie. Nice. That was fun. Now I can talk about it since it's out. That movie was okay. It was drastically okay. And it looks like we may or may not be doing another podcast on Five Nights at Freddy's after it drops next week, because I am super fucking excited for that movie. Especially after seeing some on-set footage, because there's a lot of YouTubers who got to participate one way or another in that movie. Like a lot of FNAF YouTubers did that. And I've been reading the books. I finished the Silver Eyes trilogy, and now I'm going to get back into Fazbear Frights. And the movie takes place probably in its own universe, not within the games or within the books. So, but the fact that they did so fucking good on these animatronics, like that are in the movie, they're not CG. Those are real things that they built. However, the footage I watched yesterday, because I was watching Dawko when he got to go visit the set for the first time, and he's like a huge FNAF YouTuber, British guy, and I didn't realize this is how good they were. And this is also how real they're making the games and books come to life. They have fully functioning suits for actors to wear, but they look perfect.
Mechanical.
And the heads are completely reactive. The people in the suit move just robotic enough to make it awkward. But also, like, whoever's puppeting the heads along with the actor in the suit, just in this freeform moment, because you're talking about these YouTubers seeing this shit for the real time. They're talking with them and everything, and they're reacting to what they're saying in real time. It's scary how real they took a fictional idea to the point that they have the true animatronics that are on stage for part of the movie, though they have those on a big old control arm that's off screen a little bit. But then these suits, which is also part of it, because they're not just animatronics, they're an animatronic within a suit that could also be worn by humans. So they literally made this shit real and made it almost perfect, screenshot perfect to the games. Both the animatronics, the actual pizzeria, that, you know, because the guy who made the shit is literally making the movie. So like they built a pizzeria to shoot in, like it's real, like a real set basically, you know, room to room, because that's part of it, is that, you know, you have the security office and then the rooms branch off and you have to watch the cameras and the cameras do this shit, and like and they built it exactly to the fucking games. It's like, this is awesome. I was like, and Blumhouse just said, we're dumping all the fucking money into this because holy shit, we're going to make $1 billion. It's like, if there's going to be like another like small independent movie that's going to make $1 billion, it might be this one. Because people are like, I got tickets for the first showing next Thursday, like in the middle of the afternoon, so I can just go and watch it, like, because I'm that invested. I'm sure Josh Hutcherson's going to kill it as Mike, or Mike in that movie. And I really want to know what.
He's come a long way since that era.
Yeah. Nobody remembers that fucking movie. No, I mean, like, some people obviously do. It did exist, but yeah, he's a good actor, you know. And this story is going to be fun. Not to mention, it is supposed to be a scary fucking movie, so they're adding in jump scares where necessary. But the whole point of the game was jump scares and then story. So I'm excited about that. And like I said, I don't know if we're technically going to do a thing, but we're always talking about what we can do next. And like Dante's just like, basically, we become each other's co-hosts somehow during October. It's like he needs me for things, I need him for things, because we're both having similar situations with making sure our co-hosts are anywhere and available. So it's just funny. Right. So I've thoroughly enjoyed having Dante on the show and being able to do stuff with him. So he'll definitely be back in the future. We joked about him replacing you guys because none of y'all have been available for a while. It's like, Dante's my new co-host. You guys suck. No, just kidding. Yeah. Well, everybody's.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, speaking of other stuff, let's see. Went to the
we're gonna get to
Carter's comic. Oh, we're gonna okay, fine.
Because I did something today that I believe was on your recommendation. Because I think you brought it up in chat a little while ago, and I was looking for it today, and I couldn't find it. Today, since I found myself with a lot of free time, I watched Old Dads on Netflix.
Did you?
I did. The Bill Burr movie.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks he ripped that a lot from his real life, because
I think so too.
It wasn't until the end that I realized that, like, his wife's name in the movie is Leah. His wife his actual wife is named Nia. They had 2 kids. I'm pretty sure a boy and a girl, and possibly in reverse order. I think his daughter was first and his son was second. Also, he had his kids late in life. Like, he started having kids like at his late 40s, going into his 50s, just like in this movie. And like, it had all of the midlife crisis tropes about the movie. You know, literally every possible thing goes wrong from the get-go. But I love that it was like a screaming fist at millennial bullshit the whole time. But it was a good movie, but I think in the end it turned into, like, I'm not sure the overall message necessarily came across, but they were definitely hammering you by the end of it with the evolve and give in message a little bit. He still he just said but if
you have to slightly cuck
be cucked to society. But I love that he said it all in LA, where all the fucking madness happens, and they made sure it's in LA. Like, every other cut scene, B-roll is just LA, and it just basically loses all meaning over time. But then it's like LA. Sorry, that's a Letterkenny reference. Which, by the way, we've missed several To Be Fairs, and I've just let it go. So, and I'm still mad. What day is it? Next week I get Shoresy 2, finally, because I can't fucking get Crave TV down here, because Canada hates us. I tried.
I can try to get it for you.
Because it wouldn't it wouldn't even let me download the app on anything. Just even with a VPN, they wouldn't even let me get the fucking app. So I would have to.
Thank you, Trudeau.
So I would have to get. Yeah, I've heard more about that shit going down lately. So I think the only way I could do it is if I watched on browser with the VPN turned on, but I would still have to pay for Crave TV like I would for Hulu. So at this point, I'm literally 6 days out. So I just fuck it. I'll just wait until Hulu gets it, and then
I'll get it for you.
All my dream. I'm already paying for fucking Hulu. It's like I already got Hulu. I just have to wait 6 more days to finally get Shoresy in my life again.
I know.
So old dad.
Try to do you a service show.
So out of 10, what would you rate Old Dads?
I'll give it an 8.
Ooh, that's pretty high. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean,
only because the humor's good, and it's like me, right?
Yeah.
That's just had enough of all this millennial bullcrap.
Yeah. It's
but, slightly getting cucked at the end.
He did get a little cucked at the end, but he also decided that his life was worth saving for that reason. So, and I don't mean in the health sense for anybody who's listening. I mean literally, his whole life was falling the fuck apart because of his personality in a way. I would argue that the beginning problems were just a bad business decision, and then it snowballed. This is literally like the Joker's idea: is this one bad day can change your whole thing. He had one really bad fucking day, and then the whole movie happens. But it's on. It's like
that movie Falling Down.
Yes, it's very much like Falling Down, but with less shooting, significantly less. Considering it's L.A., that was impressive. Yeah. But of course, you get all 3 main characters who all have to go through horrible life bullshit at the same time. It can't just be about the one guy, right? You got to have multiple examples of a different midlife crisis. But I enjoyed the movie. I mean, I'd probably give it like a 6-8 or something like that. Not an 8. 8 would be a easily rewatchable. It's like, no, this is more like I watched it and I enjoyed it, but I got no reason to watch it again.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't make a note of it because last week, in the interim when we didn't record, I did watch Shane Gillis's new special on Netflix as well. I think Beautiful Dogs. Highly recommend, if for nothing else, his Trump impression. His Trump impression is so fucking funny. I've heard endless Trump impressions, but his is so flawless.
Yeah,
so fucking flawless. I watched it because Bobby recommended it on Nerd Rage, and so I was like, and I've seen him on podcasts and stuff like that, but I've never watched his stand up. Right. So this is my first time watching his stand up, and it's his newest special, so he was really on it. And at the beginning, it was kind of slow rolling, not big laughs at the beginning, and then by the end, I was rolling. It was good. It was worth it. And then I started to watch someone else's special, and then I ended up getting distracted, so I need to go revisit that. But yeah, I think 2 more things, and then I'm done. This weekend, because Dante talked about it, and the wifey had never seen it, we watched Arachnophobia.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
So the wife had never seen Arachnophobia ever, and I know how she is with
such a good movie.
I know how she is with bugs. So I had to do that to her. And there were certain scenes where she literally had to cover her face. She's like, yeah, freaking out because she just doesn't like bugs. But it was worth it.
All my older kids love that
it's still a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, is there and maybe this is a Mandela effect or Mandela effect, really, not using the other word. I thought there was a cut where Delbert, John Goodman's character, was killed by the spider in attempting to kill it, and they ran into him all webbed up. Now, maybe that's a weird cutscene or an alternate ending situation, because at the end of the movie, he gets, spoilers for a 40-year-old movie, at the end, he gets saved by Delbert, last second, he gets pulled out of the basement.
Yeah.
But I thought there was a cut where they found him dead. He was all in his exterminator gear, and he's totally webbed up in the but no, I
know he was webbed up. I don't think they found him dead.
The professor gets definitely killed and webbed up, and they find him.
Oh yeah,
because it's Delbert who finds him. But I thought that there
Yeah.
was a cut where like they discover him dead, like because he went to go kill the spiders in the barn. And I thought in my own head while we're watching it, I was thinking, oh, this is where Delbert dies and they find him dead. Now maybe I'm just rolling another movie into it, or maybe
that could be
alternate universe back before 2012 when we turned on the machine, or 2016 when we turned on the machine, and we all shifted into the next universe over. Maybe that existed. I don't know. Or maybe there was a cutscene and I saw it at some point, like alternate ending. I'll Google it after the fact.
That could be. Yeah, because I don't remember that.
And so after that, I wasn't done watching TV. She wanted to go to bed. I watched The Boondock Saints because I love that movie. It's fucking classic. It is slightly less cool since I'm not 22 anymore. And then I realized the actual filmmaking isn't that great. But I also think that the guy who plays Rocco looks like a thinner, long-haired version of Ricky. There were like I'll go get some screenshots, but like there's certain scenes I see like Ricky with like a thicker beard.
Right.
It's weird.
I can see that.
Like I was like, this dude looks like Ricky if he had like long ass hair and a thick beard. I was like, but he's got a lot of some scam likely calls coming in right now. What time is it? Okay, we got plenty of time. Okay, so that pretty much solidifies it for me. Other than the other nonsense, it doesn't really matter. But what was it? Yeah, no, we're good. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I said my week was going to be short, and then it ended up being very long. Sorry about that. Now, Mike, you talk for 2 hours.
Liar. Oh yeah. Okay, sure. It's not like I haven't.
I mean, you haven't been here in a few weeks.
Yeah, that's true. No, watching a few shows here and there.
Oh, well, go to the Comic-Con experience you had. Since that's what you were leading in with.
Yeah, no, last weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that on a Saturday. Yeah, here where I'm at, we've had our very first Comic-Con. And it wasn't too bad for a town of, I don't know, almost 5,000 people, I suppose. Over 300 came, which is not bad for one day, which is pretty good.
Oh, wait, 300 people came out to that?
300 plus.
Nice.
Something like that. A little over 350 people.
Yeah, definitely would not have expected that for such a small town. That's awesome.
No, I wouldn't either, right? Which kind of surprised me as well. So it wasn't too shabby. So yeah, set up the table there, put up a bunch of posters, some of the stuff that I've done with X Transbots, some of the box art I did for that, and one of the poster character designs I did for a producer in Calgary for an animation show he wanted to pitch.
Yeah.
And then some of the character designs with this other guy, Raymond Feliciano, which you can catch on his channel at King Dolphin TV, because he just put his third sci-fi novel out. So as we're preparing slowly but surely a prequel comic for that, put those character creations up. And then just in the nick of time also, I got from Al Nickerson, the former guy that worked for Marvel and DC and MTV and Nickelodeon and stuff like that. He sent his comic just in the nick of time, autographed it and everything.
For those who couldn't see it, what was that?
This is like one of the covers.
Yeah, what's the comic? Since they don't know. So the Sword of Eden.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
The Sword of Eden.
Not Enid.
So,
Sword of Enid. Yeah, very different comic.
Sword of Eden. Yeah. So you can find that basically on his website, swordofeden.com, or through what is it called? Messianic Comics, or you can find it on Amazon. So I spent the entire weekend, well, not the entire weekend, but just all of Sunday reading that one book. It's basically like 3 issues all put in one, and it's a good read. It's a really, really good read. So I would recommend checking it out.
Sounds cool.
Oh yeah, that does really look like Ricky.
Yeah, I was trying to find. I had a better photo, but it didn't download.
Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah, it
So
does. It's weird.
So he sent that issue as a thanks for interviewing him on my channel, which was really nice of him to do. I mean, he didn't have to do
Over
that,
on the
so
Comic
let's do
Relief
that,
Crusader.
because that's right. So
Promo,
if you want to check out that
promo.
interview, go to Comic Relief Crusader, whether on YouTube or on Rumble. So check out that interview. It goes on for about 2 hours, and you might find the last half an hour of the interview very telling of today's society and how people are essentially unjobbed. Let's put it that way.
Unjobbed. That's a
unjobbed. Yeah.
Fired is a good word.
Yeah, but he wasn't fired.
I'm just
That's
saying.
the thing. Yeah. So
Dismissed.
So I put that out for him, put out a bunch of QC codes as well. So for Raymond's book, The Dolphin Wars, his series, and a QC code for people wanting to get the Sword of Eden book. Putting out some of the figures in boxes like I got up here, of the stuff that I've done. So it was pretty interesting. There was one guy, he does a lot of filming in the industry, whether it's TV or movies or whatnot.
Porn.
We got to talking for a bit. Yeah, no.
You never know.
And that was pretty revealing.
Porn
About how our no.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, not me.
Okay. The filming industry, which is not of that
nature.
Yeah. Just how far, and because of certain laws that are being passed up here in Kanadistan, tying our hands of being able to honestly work in the trade,
Kanadistan,
so to speak. Yeah. So then I had to do a panel talk, about comics and the industry and what's going on and stuff like that there, which was supposed to go on for half an hour. And I was nervous as hell because you don't know how people are going to react when you're talking,
especially you.
Especially you. Because I'm so controversial. Yeah, whatever.
I'm amazed you're allowed to be on this show.
I know.
They're probably
right?
watching.
So, $50 in the
Hi,
anyway.
Hi, Canadian FBI.
CSIS, yeah. But no, pretty much everybody that was in the audience when I was giving my panel talk agreed with me, which is kind of amazing. So it's like, yeah, the comic industry is going downhill. I don't want to read any of this, woke bullshit crap that's going on, like either making Superman gay.
Woke bullshit crap.
Exactly.
No, I just love that.
Bullshit
I
crap.
was like, I thought you were editing yourself, and then it took me a second to realize what you meant. You said, okay.
Yeah.
Woke bullshit.
So
crap.
Or now making Batman black now, because now they're going to reboot the entire DC universe again.
Well, we had Black Batman. That was Future State Batman.
Well, yeah,
but that's an excuse. That's way in the future.
Now Lucius, now that Bruce Wayne is broke and Lucius is taking over.
Oh, we're doing that again.
So,
look,
they're doing.
But at least there's so many variants of Batman. Honestly, it doesn't matter. If they made,
but people read it for Bruce Wayne.
But if they made every version or the only available version, that I would agree that sucks. But there's legitimately 35 Batman related fucking books out right now, and they're not all necessarily in the same universe right now. I mean, I just got the newest generation Joker, and that's a whole different universe in and of itself. I forgot to mention it, but I haven't read it yet. I only got it in the mail.
There we go.
But I get it. We've talked plenty about the woke nonsense in Hollywood and the spin-offs there in other industries, and I agree there's major problems. But if they're only doing it like in a one run of one comic, whoop-de-fucking do. Let them do some dumb shit, and it won't sell, and then it's over.
Exactly.
It's like, but you can't shut them down from doing it because This is the big argument about any of this is you don't shut down bad ideas. You let them play out in the market, and they shut themselves down.
Exactly.
But as long as you silence something you consider to be a bad idea, I don't care which side you're on, If you silence the other side, then no one gets to hear how bad the idea is or how good it is. You need the opposition one way or the other for it to play out in the way a market should function. But if they shut down everything and give you one shitty option and say you're like it or else, then we have an infinitely larger problem.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you said all of this on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Is there video?
And everybody,
is there video of this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because what I did also is and thanks to our youngest daughter, I simultaneously broadcast the whole thing on Rumble and YouTube that day.
Cool.
At the Crusader Comic-Con. However, she didn't want me to bring in my laptop to, the panel discussion.
Yeah.
It's my laptop. I don't want anything wrong, happening with it and stuff like that. That's like, all right, fine. So, but no, it was pretty fun. The chat for like, what was it? It was like 5 hours, 18 minutes, just live going straight.
Wow.
It was a pretty good chat that was going on. So it was good. It was pretty good. So, and they asked if I wanted to come next year because it looks like they're going to be doing this again next year. So, which is great. I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's do it. Right. What else has been going on? So the art tests that I have been doing with this one Marvel artist, that's been going good. So apparently I have been growing by leaps and bounds. So that's been going pretty well.
So did your ass shot that you needed to work on for Vampirella come out well? Okay, we never got to see it.
Apparently so. No, you didn't. So, actually, no, you didn't get to see it.
Nope, you didn't share.
I wonder
because
if I got that.
I'm sure Dormammu wanted the update. Since he said he's like we talked about that the last time. That's how long ago that was. It was when you and Dormammu were on weeks ago.
Exactly right. It's been a while.
Yeah, near a month basically since you guys have been on. It's just been me over here by my lonesome.
I will. Okay.
Send it when you get a chance.
Later. Yeah. I know I have it. I will.
Send it to the main chat.
Send it to the main chat. So there was that. So that's been going on pretty well. Oh, and then while I was there on top of that at the Crusader Comic-Con, there were a few novelists that were there. And we got to talking. Two of them, let's see, one of them here, she gave me a bunch of these bookmarks to her series of novels, which is, not too bad. So apparently her daughter made these character creations of, these characters in her books.
The one looks like Michael Jackson.
Not too bad. Yeah, the one looks like Michael Jackson. Tales of Truth for Thirsty Teens. I guess that's the book series.
Wait, I'm sorry. Tales of Truth for Thirsty Teens.
I don't make the.
I'm Googling.
But they all got a QC code, or QR code. Sorry.
Yeah, you keep saying QC code. I'm like, I'm just letting it roll.
I know.
Hold on, I'm going to look this up.
Yeah. And so, we were talking for a bit, and then this other one, Shelley Campbell, I believe that was her name, that has actually, and she gave me that book. So making myth and magic.
What was the Tales? No, wait. What was it called again? The books.
The other one.
I'm trying to Google that.
Tales of Truth for Thirsty
Of Truth.
Teens.
That's what I missed.
Truth. Yeah.
Oh, I put teenagers. That's why it's. I just want to see this. I want to know if this is a thing or not. Okay.
So then, then this other lady who has a series of novels out, fantasy novels or something like that. I think she called one of them kind of like picture. What did she say? With one of them, picture Game of Thrones and cavemen kind of thing for one series of novels that she did, or something like that. I forget. Anyway. So basically, I got to talk to these novelists, and they were all thinking about, wanting to adapt their stories to a comic adaptation.
Yeah. So I'm not getting legit outcomes. from Google.
Okay.
So, but I'm getting some weird.
alternative.
I'm getting some weird results from Google because
I'll just give you the. Oh, well, yeah, it's backwards, so you really can't even.
I'll
do it
get
on
it
camera,
in post.
So, yeah, there.
I want to know more because what the hell? Like just because Google. Like, well, the Google, even though I'm on safe search, I'm getting some weird results, so it's fine.
Yeah, okay, good enough. Yeah, so there was that. So it was pretty good talking with a lot of these people.
Good.
So it was.
You get some of the industry people to help you with your idea of you being on the edge of the industry.
Yeah.
That's
good. So because a lot of people realize that going independent is the way to go, and that a lot of the big two, or I suppose technically if you include Image in that's been around for like 30 years now, are
longer
failing. Yeah. So,
well, they're failing for the reasons we talked about already when it came to movies and whatnot and all this other stuff. But also when like Diamond's failure also changed the industry. And then, you've got people like Eric July out there going full independent, but then you've got all these because like I go through the comics list, the new releases every week, and there's so many like independent things because you can look at it from the not studio, but what I'm talking, whoever is putting it, publisher. There's the word I'm looking for, publisher. And there's like so many new names that I've never even heard of. So like independent companies are coming out right and left, and they're doing all kinds of different stories. But I mean, even within, like say, even Image, they're doing new and different stuff.
They are.
And actually, I meant to ask you, since you're kind of our big resident Transformers guy, have you gotten into or seen the new comic yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, because I did.
No, I've been following Void Rivals and Transformers.
So I got the note. So I did the same. I just haven't talked about it much. The whatever, not Hasbro universe, whatever they're calling that in the thing. I forgot exactly what they're calling.
The Energon
universe. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because the Transformers 1, the change to the mythos is. IDW very much changed the mythos back in the day. So that's what that is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like how it's similar enough to G1, but also like its own continuity. Changing it up a little bit. And the artwork is interesting. It's not terrible. But I like the well, not necessarily subtle changes they made. But I enjoyed Transformers #1 so far.
Yeah, I didn't mind it whatsoever because you do have to realize it's another different universe now, right? I wasn't exactly fond of the idea that they make Sparkplug, this drunken schlub of a man. That's like, just leave me alone, kid.
But at least they'll give him a reason, at least, to be better.
Yeah, true. And Carly is, I don't know, like some sort of dark-haired Asian art major.
Who knows?
Instead of the Carly that we're used to, that is from MIT and blonde and smart.
Changes, Mike. Changes.
Yeah, slight changes.
Well, I mean, if you remember, Spike and Sparkplug and IDW were drastically different. They were military dudes who came in as adults.
But like I said, you got to realize it's a different.
Yeah, universe. It's like people. I'm sure people complained to hell whenever they first got Sparkplug and Spike in IDW because there's nothing like the G1 characters other than in name and sort of an image, especially when they're basically the anti-Transformers task force. It's like. Okay. The greatest allies that they made initially are now literally their worst enemy at the time. At the time.
Yeah, go figure. I did I didn't mind the artwork. The artwork was pretty good.
For what it is. It's definitely different.
I mean, it's not like game changing, but it's good. And I like the nod off to I believe it's
nod off means you fell asleep.
Nod off. Yeah, sorry. The nod to the Marvel Transformers issue number, I believe it's number 15. Okay. And for those of you that are listening to this right now, I'll just refresh your memory because in Transformers 15, when Marvel was doing it, the Decepticons acquired a mining
Oh, yeah.
pit.
Yeah.
You know, basically, it made it their temporary base of
And that's what they
operations.
did at the end of
And
this.
in this one,
Yeah.
the Autobots are now the ones basically in an abandoned mining pit.
Yeah, they've lost the
and
arc
have
of
to
all
make it
fucking
there.
things. It's like, what?
Yeah,
The remaining
like
Autobots, by the way, like, is
exactly.
yeah, wow, yeah.
So it's a nice little nod off, right? A nice little homage.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
It's an interesting
it's not too
start to
bad.
this new story, and Void Rivals is
Yeah.
interesting in its own right because we've delved into. We now know we're in that same universe. I mean, we've known that since like 3, whatever had the Quintesson in it.
Oh, and then speaking of comics, I did find out one interesting thing while I was at this Comic-Con, because one of the writers there that knows somebody that has, I believe she said, written for DC, like the current DC, was saying that they might be in some heavy financial problems, and Warner Brothers might want to
Ditch.
drop DC Comics altogether, sell it off. And they're looking at 2 possible buyers, right?
Marvel.
One of them might be Image, which seems extremely odd.
Oh my god, could you imagine?
Image
buying DC?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The other one would be, in fact, Marvel.
Oh god, hold on,
now,
wait a minute.
This isn't the first time. That Marvel has been interested in buying DC, because this happened all the way back in February 1984. And if you don't know comics history whatsoever, Marvel almost by a sliver, when Jim Shooter was in charge, DC approached Marvel because their sales were really, really bad. And Jim Shooter was asked, hey, do you want to publish these books? And it almost happened. And John Byron, at the time when he was at Marvel, he had a whole story already planned out and a cover page and everything for Marvel Comics Presents Superman #1, and had the story all laid out.
God.
And this was in talks for like 3 days. And it's a long story, but what was it? Eclipse Comics at the time, basically it said, because in the States you got this whole, when companies amalgamate and they're too big.
Anti-monopoly laws and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so what happened is that Eclipse Comics basically put in something into the court saying, you're too big, and Marvel's already paying for cheap printing, which actually was not the case. Actually, Marvel was actually paying more for printing than anybody else at the time. So that whole deal went through. It's long and convoluted.
So
and all that kind of crap. But Marvel almost had DC back in 1984.
So question. So question. If DC was bought by Image,
right,
that means that Jim Lee would now be working.
Wildstorm goes back to Image again.
So not only that, because Jim Lee is the creative director over at DC Comics now, who used to work for Image.
Yep.
Would now be back under the Image banner, under Todd and others that he broke off to start that company with.
Exactly.
And
how the
turntables have turned. I don't know what you tried to say there, Mike, but it's okay.
Oh no, it was meant to be.
Sure
like
was.
That. So,
sure it was. Not just you being old.
But that'd be.
My God, the irony. My God.
I know. Right?
Well, okay. What makes it even crazier? So if you've got Todd McFarlane, whatever his connection to Image still might be, I know still Spawn specifically, but then he's already doing all the DC stuff for figures. But then he would actually have these straight up DC comics under his own label. It's weird, it would be weird. Because then they change it. It's no longer DC figure. It's now Image.
Exactly.
Oh, man. That would be weird. Like, I just hope.
Oh, and then I caught if you remember speaking of Image, if you remember with Rob Liefeld, the books that he had, there was also another one called Bloodstrike. Sure. Part of his Extreme Studios kind of thing. Apparently there was a teaser trailer of one of the books that he wants to come out with, Bloodstrike. So that
Oops, that's
that
the wrong
apparently
button.
might take some Hollywood interest.
Oh, not to interrupt. I was just reminded of something as I'm pushing buttons over here. I am currently only 53 subscribers away from 10,000.
Awesome.
It won't mean fuck all, but that has been my only actual goal with YouTube, was to hit 10,000 subscribers. And it has taken, what year is it now? 7 years to get this close. And believe me, like, I've been stuck at round about like 9,800 for almost 2 years. Okay. I mean, mind you, that's my own decision because I stopped being a Gundam channel. But I'm hoping, like, with this last little push, with this Gundam content I'm attempting to put out, will get me at least to 10,000. And I was going to do a 10,000 subscriber giveaway. I haven't done an official announcement, but I talked about the idea of it already. So I'm planning on, if it goes through, giving away some of my custom things that have been big on the channel in years past. So, but I was clicking on notifications from YouTube, and I went, oh yeah, I keep forgetting to talk about this on the podcast. You know, I was like, oh yeah, I'm literally like, I mean, in the very literal sense, I've never been this close to that one dream I had for fucking YouTube. You know.
Did you get a shiny award for
No,
that?
we get fuck all for 10,000, but it's just the idea that that's like a minor milestone realistically in modern day, but like
you need 53?
53 total, yeah.
53? Okay. Maybe I should have you on.
I mean, I've been on your channel before.
Titillating Tuesdays. Yeah, that's true.
I'm busy on Tuesdays, Mike. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I haven't.
Okay, then fine.
I'm just
How about
fucking with you.
Friday?
No, I'm really busy on Friday.
Okay.
No, it's just fucking with you. Tuesday would work fine as long as it's in a reasonable time.
Maybe I'll bring you on Titillating Tuesdays tomorrow.
We'll talk about it.
1 p.m. Mountain.
That's 2 p.m. my time. So in theory, that's doable. Yeah. In theory, that's doable. So we'll work on that. So if you're seeing this in the future, and I was live on Mike's channel 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, then that's what happened. If not, sorry for the teasers that you didn't get to see a video in the past. That's a weird YouTube time travel thing. I mean, but the thing is like, subscriber numbers I know mean fuck all unless you have a lot. But to have that nice round 5 digits to fucking look at is
exactly.
It's one thing if you can have that meteoric rise to fame. You know, like some channels literally have exploded overnight, 50, 60,000 subscribers with a single video, you know, because they got it out there. And like 2 months later, they're 20 times the size they were when they started, that kind of shit. So, I mean, like, it's like the number will look great, but the views would look better. You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, because, like, the funny thing is I put out one Gundam review this year so far that I can recall.
Yeah.
Purposely did it. It was the build I did for my buddy, and I reviewed it.
Yeah.
That video had gotten a drastic, like, number of views compared to the shit that I normally put out at this point. Just like people were just like so thirsty to hear me talk about Gundam again that they just, like, let me go look at that real quick. Like, I want to see. I don't pay attention that much anymore, but I saw the initial numbers. I was like, holy fuck. I was like, okay, that's comments. That's not going to do me any good. I want to see actual videos. I'm going to scroll back. Also, they're making so many changes to the YouTube interface.
Oh god.
So
I know.
The video I put out before it had 54 views. You know, when you have 10,000 subscribers, getting any video that has 50 views is kind of a slap in the face, if we're honest. Yeah. That's how I know subscriber numbers don't mean anything. That video got 400 plus views in one day.
Wow.
Like they were that desperate to just finally get some Gundam content. It's like, if I wasn't so,
people are hungry for you.
But it was just no, they're hungry for that.
Well, yeah.
Like, and it's like, and that makes me just ever so slightly resentful to the fact that I put out so much other content, but they want that. And like that being pigeonholed that badly and knowing you don't really want anything to do with it anymore. You know, I mean, I have hundreds of them sitting here that I'm doing fuck all with. They're literally in the box doing nothing. Like, I'm trying to get rid of these damn things so that I can have display for everything else I've got laying around. And then,
actually, talking about views, geez, mine just took a jump as well.
Good for you.
Because, it's really weird because I put out a video on Thursday and now all of a sudden I got 145 views.
Yeah, well, that happened on episode 71, which was no offense, but fuck Jeremy. And like the saga of Jeremy is ongoing, but really it only matters with me and Dante. Really, he's our problem. But that one, I don't know why. That one, for no reason, got 150 some odd views over the weekend that it came out. Every other video we normally put out for the podcast is like 20, 30. If I get like 45, I'm happy. You know, because we only have like 49 actual subscribers. So for that video to out of nowhere, I mean, I know Dante probably shared it a little bit because that was his first appearance here. Yeah. For whatever reason, that one just went through the. Oh, sorry, that was episode 70. I had it wrong. Yeah, 144 views in one weekend. And I was just like, I'm like, are they? Is it the title? Like, I did nothing different. I did literally nothing different. I mean, Dante's podcasts are significantly bigger, so if he says something, then there should be an increase somewhere, right? Because the views here, even on and downloads on Podbean, are fucking in the tank. There's like nothing going on there, so we've been, downranked a little bit. But then, like, just for that one, and like I said, maybe it's just the title because it had "fuck" in the title, and they're like, "What? What happened to Jeremy? Why are we gonna? What's going on here?" So I considered like continuing some form of insult to Jeremy throughout the rest of the things, And then once again, if you're out there and your name is Jeremy, we're not talking about you. We're talking about Jeremy.
Yeah. Another Jeremy. It's a Jeremy from the multiverse.
It's the multiverse of Jeremys.
One that you're not aware of yet.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you because you definitely follow all this stuff too, and I know you're sort of doing your weeks, but this falls into the same kind of category of woke bullshit and this kind of situation. Rick and Morty season 7 has begun.
Okay.
Without Justin Roiland at all.
Yeah, playing Rick.
Yeah.
Or sorry,
both.
No.
Both. Yeah. He does both. He plays both main characters, and he's a writer. So they've got another actor, I forgot his name, filling in and doing his best imitation. And sometimes it's close. But I haven't been watching because at this point I'm just like, no. Because if he was found not to have done the things that he was accused of that cost him his job, I will not support the company that fired him from his own creation. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. Because I'm pretty sure that Dan Harmon got canceled at 1.2 for the same situation, but they're saying that he's back on the show. I'm like, I thought he was fired from all the accusatory stuff like years ago. So maybe it's just people misreporting things, but like, what do you think of that? The idea that a show created by this guy, voiced by this guy, is continuing without him.
I don't know. It's not surprising.
But should it have been the end of the show? Like,
you know what? I would have left it as that's it. That's the end, and just let it go on in legend, so to speak.
Yeah.
As a let it have its cult following, basically. Right.
Or
kind of like how, say, for example, Firefly was cut short.
Exactly.
Right. And you got this cult following.
The brown coats exist.
It's a phenomenal show. Exactly, right? So let it go in that direction, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Because then people are always going to cherish it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
But now you bring somebody else that hopefully does, a really good job, but it's not exactly.
It's not the same, but also the writing is different.
It's going to
from all opinions. It's.
Yeah.
Apparently they did.
It's going to grind people the wrong way.
They did a lot of flash with no substance in the first 2 episodes, from what the reviews of the show have been. Like, some people don't even know.
And that's the problem with these writers, right? Is that they're, first of all, how should I put it? Okay. when I went to my very first Comic-Con, like way back in the 90s, okay, and I had my own fanzine out with a bunch of guys and stuff like that, and I met Barry Goldyear, no, Goodyear, sorry, the author that eventually became the movie Enemy Mine, with Dennis Quaid, right? That sci-fi movie. And anyway, and I gave him my book to my fanzine to read, right? And he gave me a really good piece of advice. He goes, as the creator, you have to write it in such a way that you know nothing about your characters. That way, you're introducing, the person reading your book will know your characters, learn your characters, but in your head, you know everything about them. And this is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
With Rick and Morty, right? Writing it like Rick and Morty-esque does not mean that you're going to get a Rick and Morty
It's not going to be the
show,
same, no.
right? Because you are not the creator.
Yeah.
Everything that is up
you can only be an imitator, because the guy who literally did the thing is gone.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
it's never going to be the same again, right? Because you are not the creator. You do not have all the things that are in the creator's head to make the show what is the show.
And if he was only the creator, then fine. But he's also voicing the two main fucking characters. Exactly. He developed who the characters were over the course of however many years that this first 6 seasons took to do. I think it was like 8 years to do
and
it
that
all.
way, it's never going to be the same. And it's eventually going to go
down the fucking toilet. And like,
right.
But I look at
it's like the same thing with The Simpsons, right? When you're getting rid of certain characters, just because maybe certain voice actors like kowtow to the mom, and say getting rid of Apu. Well, it's not exactly the same anymore, right? Because you can't do the whole quickie mark kind of thing.
But
anymore.
even when they, I think that didn't they attempt to bring him back, but with an actual like Indian actor or something like that?
Yeah,
I think
but
briefly,
but again,
it's not
it's
the
still
same.
not the same anymore.
No,
right? It's missing that little bit of magic.
Yeah.
That makes the whole thing, and the whole stew tastes good, basically.
Yeah,
right? It's just not the same anymore.
And I think I don't know if it was in a direct. It was definitely in a direct conversation, but we might have said it on the show. The only people really complaining about a lot of these issues, especially when it comes to that in particular, suburban bored white women. They need to stop ruining things.
Exactly.
They stop it. Like you ruin the NFL, which now there's lawsuits because of that. You've now ruined multiple TV shows and probably movies.
Yeah,
like because
let's be honest, you're really not watching the show. All of you there that are doing this,
no.
You're really not. You're just finding something to complain about, and essentially ruin everybody else's fun. Stop
but
it.
Nobody, the people,
like the old adage set is, if you don't like it, change the channel.
But even the idea that like making a giant stink about something on behalf of someone, like this is offensive to Indian people. No, we love Apu. We think it actually shows a great concept. Someone who came here with nothing and learned the ways of America and became an entrepreneur and runs all this stuff as a family that he supports and all this stuff. Why would we want to get rid of this person?
Well, exactly.
So
especially how people of that race or that ethnicity, whatever you want to call it, are enjoying it because they see it as representation in a good way.
Yeah.
Go figure. You can't please.
Think about your statement you made there, Mike. That you typed.
I know.
Yeah, it sounds so much worse than you meant it. Off-screen stuff, guys.
Yeah.
He said something that definitely sounds worse. So I like it, and then you reply, and then you also laugh. So that, guys, what you may not have heard there was the Facebook notification. When Mike laughed, he actually typed "lol," so he technically laughed out loud while typing "laugh out loud." But this goes back also to the Roseanne problem. This is exactly what happened to Roseanne, and the Connors. While people still watched it, it went on for like 5 fucking seasons. And was never that good. I'm going to be honest. Like I try. It was horrible. It's like, and I'm sorry. It just no. It's like once you've thrown the creator of the show, not to mention the star, in the garbage, it's never going to be the same. Sorry.
No,
that
it's
was
not.
You made it the end of your series, and then you wouldn't accept that it died. It's like, and it died because of you. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You know,
because you're taking those essential ingredients out of the whole stew, as it were, and it just doesn't taste the same.
Of course not. It can't. There's
So-
no way it can. You know.
No.
So because we are running short on time, because we have been going for, how long have we been going for? 2.5 hours. That's not bad. I did want to just talk briefly about the one little tiny other subject that we had lined up. And that was the, and I mentioned it before, but we actually got a full-on trailer for, I think, the new Monarch series. That's continuing the Universal Godzilla series, but so it's following Monarch and their exploration of finding other kaiju or monsters or whatever they call them, Titans. There's the word, correct? Universe Titans. And I like that we have Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell in this, and Wyatt is playing the younger version of his dad, which is kind of fucking cool. Speaking of which, I forgot about this. A cool point of Gen V. One of the main important characters to the story is Arnold Schwarzenegger's son. Yeah.
Ooh, which one?
The legitimate
Is
one.
it the one. The legitimate. I like how you put that. I was going to say, is it
not the bastard?
The forbidden one?
Not the bastard.
Okay.
The one that. So his bastard child who looks exactly the same. No, his other son. His other son. So the legitimate one.
Nice.
To put it very nicely, who looks significantly more like his mother, but has his father's physique. So I mean, it's still cool. He's a good actor too. So either way, I did want to bring that up. But Godzilla.
Picturing Maria Shriver with just
a bulky dude.
Muscles.
Yeah.
Looks awesome.
Yeah. But picture him on fire because he plays a character very similar to the Human Torch.
Torch.
But he has more powers than that. But that's his main power.
I'm definitely looking forward to Monarch.
Yeah, so
and
I'm sad because I don't have Apple TV, so I'm going to need someone's fucking login. Because I want to watch this because the teasers, like they do of course show Godzilla straight up in daylight. First of all, straight up daylight. Like everybody bitches, every movie he's like in the dark or in the rain or in the smoke or fighting in Hong Kong. And we got him in broad fucking daylight, and it looks great. And like, I'm on board. And John Goodman kind of reprising his role from Kong Skull Island, so that's got to be a flashback because he died a long time ago. So
Yeah.
And then also the Skull Island anime, quote unquote, that's on Netflix is also technically part of the same universe. So
is it?
That is the Skull Island, and that is Kong from that. So that is pre Kong versus Godzilla. So that's leading up to. So it'll be interesting. So either way, I'm excited about that show. I think it's going to be cool, or it's going to be terrible, but it'll be fun one way or the other because we haven't heard anything new about the next movie in the series.
Yeah. Kong versus Godzilla 2.
Or whatever they're calling that, versus the new order or whatever it's called, the new Uber monkey.
And then you got the Japanese movie coming out soon, the
-1,
-1,
which doesn't look as the concept of the movie once they finally showed the full trailer is cooler. I like that. I like the idea. I just don't like the look of this Godzilla only because of the spines, the big gigantic spines. That's the only complaint I have. I like the idea of the story itself. Now it's a retaliation of us using nukes instead of it being an allegory for World War One. So, but either way, we're getting a lot of Godzilla content, and nobody thought we'd ever have it this good.
World War II.
Whatever. What did I say?
You said World War One.
I don't care. It's one of them.
Yeah, whatever.
It's the one where we blew everything.
People
remember
died.
Remember that war where everybody killed everybody? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh wait, you mean never mind.
Silly.
I mean, we're worried about the current one, not about the past one. We've written over the old one. Yeah. Except for when we celebrate quote unquote heroes from that war that are definitely not heroes, but some government decides to give them an award publicly for their service. I brought that up to some German friends of mine. They're like, seriously, seriously, they did that. I'm like, they did that because apparently a similar situation happened in Germany recently with one of their elections, and people clearly have no fucking clue what they're even talking about anymore.
Apparently
We
not.
can talk about that on Titillating Tuesday, perhaps.
Oh yeah,
because that sounds titillating. So
yeah.
So either way, guys, thanks for listening. We do have to cut this short because I have to get to an appointment pretty soon, and then Mike has to go do what Mike's got to do.
Exactly.
So you can go follow what Mike do over on the Comic Relief Crusader channel, and follow that wherever it is you want. Go to Rumble. Stop giving YouTube money.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you can follow everything I do down here in the description down below. And if you'd like to write into the show to tell us how stupid we are or ask us questions or give us topics, you can do so at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com, which is also in the description down below. So you can just copy that shit into your thingy and go, I want to email these people. That'd be great. Write to us, please, because Jay is not around to do so. Also, once again, rest in peace to Jay's dad, who passed away very recently. So, but yeah. So we're still thinking about you, buddy, if you're out there. And I don't think I have anything else to promote currently because we kind of did all of that work recently. So, but best case scenario, join the Patreon, come support all the Shoky channels. I'm going to be working on new merch pretty soon. I did make some Patreon exclusive merch for the first time once I finally figured out how to do that on Teespring. I was like, how do I make it? How do I make it private? Or you can only just share it. So I was like, oh, you just click that option. I didn't even know that was there. It's like you can have basically you can have unlisted merch, and I was like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. So I do have new Patreon merch, so that's fun. I'll be working now that I know that's a thing. I'll probably be working on more of that. So, but guys, we will see you next time. And remember as always, that's all my other channels where I say those things. And with that, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh yeah, I forgot I gotta get Sean on sometime soon. He's got a lot going on.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.